Chapter 1479. Qin Feng's expression was grave. He had also seen through Taoist Feng's realm. Just as the rumors said, he was at the peak of Stage 9. This was Qin Feng's first time encountering such a powerful cultivator. Of course, the youth with Stage 1 immortal Qi on Immortal Island didn't count. That youth didn't even dare to attack him. Rumble. Just as Qin Feng was in a daze, a huge fist descended from the sky and sent him flying. As expected, Taoist Feng is more powerful. He's a powerful cultivator at the peak of Stage 9.
Sigh.
Young hero Qiao has such a realm at such a young age. He was originally a cultivation genius, but unfortunately, he's going to fall today. Seeing Qin Feng fall, the crowd started discussing again. Su Ruoro and the other girls were so anxious they were about to cry. Teacher Qiao and the others wanted to rush up and help. However, everyone calmed down in the end. This battle had long surpassed their realm. Rushing forward would only drag Qin Feng down. Taoist Feng's expression became more and more pleased. After his fist landed, he wasn't in a hurry to kill Qin Feng. He stood with his hands behind his back and yelled, "Kid with the surname Qiao, I'll give you a chance to live. As long as you lead the people of Celestial Souls sect to surrender and submit to my Fengyang Palace, I can stop here." He seemed to be kind enough to spare everyone's lives, but everyone knew that if Qin Feng submitted now, everyone would live a life worse than death in the future. However, Qin Feng had already jumped out of the huge pit. His white robe was stained with some mud, and his hair was loose. He looked a little pathetic. "Then I'll also give you a chance. Kneel and kowtow to the disciples of Celestial Souls sect to admit your mistakes, and I'll leave your corpse intact." Rumble. Just as Qin Feng finished speaking, Taoist Feng swung his fists like a mad beast. He roared furiously, and his fists moved so fast that they created wind. Instantly, a wave of fist prints fell like rain, carrying with them the power to destroy everything.
Swoosh.
Qin Feng had just risen into the air on his golden wheel when the ground he was standing on exploded and collapsed. In midair, Qin Feng held a purple battle bow and yelled, "Arrow, come." Everyone looked up dumbfoundedly, not knowing what he was doing. However, they heard a loud sound in the air, as if a ray of light shot over from afar. In the span of a few breaths, a thin and long arrow appeared in Qin Feng's hand. The body of the arrow exuded a holy white light, and the arrowhead flickered with purple flames. The arrowhead also had a pair of pure white wings attached to it, making it look like a divine arrow. When Taoist Feng saw the cloud-piercing arrow, he was stunned. Before he could recover, a stream of light shot towards him. Rumble. At the same time Qin Feng released the arrow, the ground rumbled. Dust flew up from where Taoist Feng stood, and a huge crater was blasted open. However, Qin Feng's voice rang out again. "Arrows, come." With a whooshing sound, the cloud-piercing arrow returned to Qin Feng's hand. It turned out that the arrow didn't hit Taoist wind. Qin Feng was astonished by Taoist Feng's strength. At the same time, he released a second arrow. There was another loud noise, but it still didn't hit the target. Back then, when Qin Feng stepped into the Wind Sun Palace alone, he shot an arrow and instantly blew up the head of a Stage 9 true Qi stage elders who were hundreds of meters away. It was obviously not that easy to kill Taoist Feng with the cloud-piercing arrow. Sharp arrows flew continuously. Qin Feng was like Ho-E descending to the mortal world. One arrow after another landed on the ground. The plains outside the Immortal Spirit Gate were full of holes from the explosions. Everyone had already retreated a kilometer away. They looked around quickly. They kept feeling that there was a black shadow leaping around, but no one could accurately pinpoint the person's location. The black shadow that flashed like a ghost was Taoist Feng, who was running. His speed was so fast that Qin Feng was amazed. After an unknown number of arrows were shot, a gust of wind suddenly rose behind Qin Feng and instantly sent him flying from the sky. Rumble. He landed with a loud noise like a meteor crashing to the ground. Taoist Feng's figure finally reappeared. He was standing at the edge of the huge crater. The instant his palms fell, hundreds of fist marks flew down. He didn't give Qin Feng any chance to catch his breath. The sound of the fists was earth-shattering. However, a snowstorm appeared out of nowhere and actually enveloped his body, causing the air to instantly freeze. Bang, 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 bang. The fist marks landed on the snowstorm, and there was a muffled sound like a car crash. Taoist Feng was shocked. He didn't understand why the weather suddenly changed. He suspected that it was Qin Fen's doing, but he quickly shook his head to deny it. Only those who had stepped into the immortal Qi realm could use immortal skills that could change the weather. How could Qin Fen, who was merely at the late stage of true Qi realm, do it? However, in the next moment, Taoist Feng was stunned. He saw Qin Fen standing in the huge crater, waving his palms and shooting out waves of cold air. Moreover, as his palms changed, the surrounding snowstorm also changed. This sudden change in weather was really caused by him. Qiao, how did you do it? For a moment, Taoist Feng forgot that he was still fighting. Qin Fen's expression was colder than the snowstorm. The instant he opened his eyes, two beams of purple light soared into the sky like dragons. The snowstorm was pierced through into two empty areas. Only the purple flames whistled, and the snowstorm avoided them by 3 feet. The purple dusk immortal fire flew towards Taoist Feng. He was in the snowstorm, and his vision was already blocked. Now that the extraordinary fire suddenly appeared, he was caught unprepared. The sound of the explosion came through the snowstorm. The earth shook, and everyone was so scared that they couldn't help but tremble. The snowstorm gradually dissipated, and the surrounding scenery returned to clear skies. When everyone's vision was restored, the crowd suddenly exploded. That person lying on the ground is sect leader Feng? It really is sect leader Feng. He was defeated by young hero Qiao. What's with the snowstorm just now? This young hero Qiao is too powerful. Taoist Feng was hit by the purple dusk immortal fire and fell to the ground 100 meters away. But he didn't burn to death. Aside from his skin being scorched, everything else was normal. Taoist Feng gnashed his teeth in anger as he listened to the discussions around him. He was the dignified sect leader of the Wind Sun Palace, one of the strongest experts in the whole of China, and he had stepped into the peak of true Qi Stage 9. How could he be injured by the young Qiao Feng in front of everyone? This wasn't just a matter of life and death. It was a matter of dignity. Qiao, I want you to die a horrible death. Taoist Feng's angry roar rose from the ground, and it was even more oppressive than thunder. A wave of true Qi surged in the surroundings, forcing the crowd to retreat dozens of meters. Qin Fen hurriedly rushed towards Taoist Feng, trying to kill him in one go. However, Taoist Feng leaped into the sky and punched the air above his head. Rumble. Instantly, a huge fist mark rose into the sky. The weather changed, and the fist mark turned into dark clouds that shrouded the top of Taoist Feng's head. Qin Fen had already sensed the danger. Just as he was about to escape, Taoist Feng punched him. The dark clouds above Taoist Feng's head exploded and turned into countless small fist marks that fell to the ground. The fist marks flickered with electricity. This was the Wind Sun Palace's ultimate skill, Thunder Fist. The Thunder Fists fell like rain and concentrated in the area where Qin Fen was. Even though Qin Fen tried his best to escape, he was still hit by dozens of Thunder Fists. The thunder and lightning were incomparably fierce. When they fell, Qin Fen's body trembled violently. Even the golden rock celestial armor he wore had several cracks on it. Master, the golden rock celestial armor is about to break. I suggest that you take it back to the Million Treasure Pavilion to repair it. Little Pig's anxious voice sounded. It knew that after taking back the celestial armor, its master's body wouldn't be able to resist the Thunder Fists. However, if it wasn't taken back, it wouldn't be long before it was completely destroyed. Qin Fen was even more anxious than Little Pig. With a slight thought, a pair of azure ice wings suddenly appeared on his back. This pair of ice wings was a reward from the system when he subdued the two-headed werewolf queen in Extreme Ice City. The instant the ice wings flapped, a snowstorm enveloped Qin Fen's body and blocked most of the power of the Thunder Fists.
Whoosh.
Qin Fen flew into the air. Every time the ice wings on his back flapped, the surrounding snowstorm would surge violently. The crowd cried out in surprise and looked at Qin Fun in the sky in disbelief. They were shocked again, and again by the godly weapon he displayed. Taoist Feng's old eyes sparkled as he stared fixedly at the ice wings on Qin Fun's back. He couldn't take his eyes off them. This was an incredible treasure. Damn, after I destroy you, brat, I want this pair of ice wings. Rumble. As soon as Taoist Feng roared, he swung his fist above his head and condensed another thunder fist mist that carried electricity. In an instant, the concentrated thunder fists fell like rain again. Even with the protection of a snowstorm created when the ice wings flapped, Qin Fun couldn't take it anymore. Master, that guy is too strong, Little Pig yelled. Does the system have any equipment that can destroy him? Qin Fun furrowed his brows. There are many, but Master can't afford them with his current hedonist points. Little Pig's voice was filled with helplessness. Qin Fun only had 100,000 hedonist points left. It was clearly unrealistic for him to buy a godly weapon that could kill a stage 9 true Qi expert. Moreover, in front of Taoist Feng, the Black Dragon series of products he had lost their effectiveness. Back then, Qin Fun had used the Black Dragon tank to bomb Qing Chen, who was at the middle stage of Stage 9 True Qi. Qing Chen had blocked the homing missile, so how could Taoist Feng for a moment? Qin Fun didn't have a plan. He realized that he had underestimated the power of a Stage 9 True Qi expert. He originally thought that he would be able to put up a fight after stepping into the late stage of Stage 9 True Qi. Now, it seemed that he would at most be able to fight to a draw. Killing Taoist Feng was easier said than done. Master, you can try using the Lightning Soul Sword, Little Pig suddenly said. Qin Fun thought of the Lightning Soul Sword. This was a godly weapon that he had obtained a long time ago by fusing the pink soul-severing sword and the gold thunder divine sword. This fused Lightning Soul Sword was a holy sword that could slay demons and destroy souls. It was incredibly powerful when used against the evil cultivators of China's verdant sect. But Little Pig wanted him to use it against Taoist Feng? This made Qin Fun a bit puzzled. Little Pig could read Qin Fun's thoughts and continued to say, Master, apart from slaying demons, the Lightning Soul Sword is also surrounded by the power of heavenly lightning. It can trigger heavenly lightning attacks, which happens to counter the power of Taoist Feng's lightning fists. Qin Fun understood after hearing this. However, Taoist Feng's lightning fists were as dense as rain and incomparably ferocious. Qin Fun didn't even have time to escape, so he couldn't attack Taoist Feng in close combat. Even with the Lightning Soul Sword, he couldn't unleash its power. Chapter 1480. Little Pig continued, Master, you can use the Heavenly Eagle Bow to shoot the Lightning Soul Sword. That way, you can attack from a distance. Qin Fun's eyes lit up. This was a good idea. He also realized that the Lightning Soul Sword was too slow and definitely couldn't hit Taoist Feng. Qin Fun thought of combining the Lightning Soul Sword with the Cloud-Piercing Arrow. By combining the speed of the Cloud-Piercing Arrow with the power of the Lightning Soul Sword, he could achieve an unexpected result. Thunder roared in his ears, and Qin Fun was hit by a few lightning punches from time to time. The blood in his body surged, and the Golden Rock Sovereign armor on his body was severely damaged and had been put away. Qin Fun, who had been flying all this time, suddenly stopped. The ice wings on his back flapped wantonly and brought about a violent snowstorm. The weather changed and Qin Fun was in the snowstorm, making it hard to pinpoint his location. The lightning punches rained down on the snowstorm and created earth-shattering noises. Qin Fun stood in the snowstorm with a purple battle bow in one hand and the cloud-piercing arrow and lightning soul sword tied together by an iron chain in the other. The battle bow had no string, but Qin Fun pulled it. The cloud-piercing arrow shone with a holy white light, while the lightning soul sword shone with a golden light and purple lightning coiled around the sword. The moment Qin Fun let go, the golden purple light flashed and shot towards the lightning fist clouds in the sky like a meteor. Rumble. Before everyone could react, thunder roared in the sky. The cloud-piercing arrow pierced through the lightning fist clouds above Taoist Feng's head in a breath's time. The lightning soul sword immediately showed its power and purple light shot out in all directions, triggering the heavenly lightning. Thunder roared everywhere. It was several times stronger than the weather change caused by Taoist Feng's lightning fist. The purple lightning struck the ground, and Taoist Feng didn't even have a chance to react before falling to the ground. Arrow. After breaking Taoist Feng's lightning fist with one arrow, Qin Fen immediately shot another arrow. This time, everyone finally saw something fishy. A golden-purple flowing light flashed across the sky, as if after a breath. There was an explosion of lightning in the area where Taoist Feng landed. It was a spectacular scene that seemed like it was going to destroy the world. Rumble. The explosions didn't stop. Qin Fen didn't dare to be negligent and shot several arrows at the empty ground. For a moment, the plains outside the spiritual immortal gate were blown into a mess, and its original appearance was no longer recognizable. The disciples of the Immortal Souls sect and the people from the other sects were shocked. This ending was unexpected. The battle is over? Young hero Qiao won. Under such an intense bombardment of thunder and lightning, Sect Master Feng will definitely die. This young hero Qiao is too powerful. To be able to kill an expert at the pinnacle of true Qi Stage 9, he must be half a step into the immortal Qi stage. From this moment onwards, the name of the immortal spiritual sect will resound throughout the entire divine continent. They might even step into the ranks of the new 5 supremes of the divine continent. The loud noises did not stop, and the screams of the crowd did not stop either. The ground was surrounded by purple lightning. Not to mention humans, even a mountain could be blasted into pieces. Taoist Feng was in the sea of lightning and had long been blasted into pieces. Qin Feng landed on the ground and sat on his butt. This battle had exhausted all the true qi in his body. At this moment, he was as weak as a child. Su Ruoro and the other women had already rushed over, and they surrounded him and chattered with concern. Seeing this scene, Qing Chun was already stunned. She had even forgotten that she was still naked. She still remembered the first time Qin Feng stepped into the Thousand Shadows sect to look for Zhaoling Xian. At that time, Qin Feng was only at true Qi Stage 7, and he could not even withstand the power of one of her palms. How long had it been? Looking at Qin Feng now, he was so young, but he had single-handedly killed the sect master of the Wind Sun Palace. He had already stepped into the ranks of the top supremes of the divine continent. The violent thunder finally subsided, and the disciples of the various sects gradually recovered from their shock. When everyone looked at Qin Feng and the disciples of the immortal spiritual sect again, their eyes were filled with reverence. Even though the immortal spiritual sect had not officially been named one of the 5 supremes of the divine continent, everyone knew that it was only a matter of time. At first, they thought that the huge battle had finally ended, and the women's tense hearts also relaxed. However, at this moment, Qin Feng frowned and looked into the sky in the distance. 2 blacks were rapidly approaching, accompanied by a whistling sound. There are more enemies attacking. All of you, quickly hide. Qin Feng's expression turned cold, and he forced himself to stand up. The women still did not understand the situation. When they followed Qin Feng's gaze, their expressions all became nervous. The roar of the engines quickly approached, and the blacks in the sky gradually became clearer. Su Ruoro and the other women all came from the outside world, so they were no strangers to things that flew in the sky. They were actually 2 fighter jets speeding over. Why are there fighter jets? Could it be that there are other invaders from the outside world in the divine continent? The women were confused. They thought that only Qin Feng could get his hands on high-tech products from the outside world. However, at this moment, Qin Feng's solemn voice sounded in their ears. It's not high-tech from the outside world. It's people from Fire Beacon City's Science and Technology Museum. The women were still in a daze, unable to come to their senses. Qin Feng had already turned into a black shadow and disappeared into the distance. The 2 fighter jets arrived in the sky above the immortal spiritual sect. Suddenly, there was a loud explosion. Countless missiles and cannonballs fell, as if they were going to raze the entire immortal spiritual sect to the ground. The disciples of the various sects were all startled, and they covered their heads and scurried away in fear. They muttered in their hearts, Who did the immortal spiritual sect defend? They actually came to annihilate the sect. 2 balls of golden light flickered. Qin Feng forced his body into the sky. He opened his eyes and shot out 2 balls of purple fire. However, his true qi and telekinesis were extremely lacking, so the power of the purple cloud immortal fire was greatly reduced. Rumble. The fireball flew quickly and hit one of the fighter jets. It was unknown what the fighter jet was made of. After swaying a few times in the air, it actually continued flying and headed towards Qin Feng. Lei Shan, who was sitting in the fighter jet, was so angry that he screamed. When he caught up to Qin Feng, he slapped the launch button randomly. Immediately, 2 tracking cannonballs turned into white mist and shot over. There were also countless laser bullets raining down. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The wind blew through the air. Qin Feng used all his true qi to escape on the golden wheel. However, the tracking cannonball was extremely fast. Just as it was about to hit him, Qin Feng activated his telekinesis. Immediately, the weather changed drastically, and a violent snowstorm surged around him. Rumble. The 2 tracking cannonballs hit at the same time, exploding into a rolling cloud in the sky. The violent snowstorm instantly dissipated in the explosion and blocked most of the cannonball's power. However, there was still a violent shockwave that hit Qin Feng and sent him flying to the ground. A huge crater appeared on the ground. This attack almost took Qin Feng's old life. He lay motionless in the crater. His white robe was torn and his eyelids were drooping. He looked like he was on the verge of death. Everyone was stunned. Su Ruoro and the other girls forgot to rush over. Little Pig was anxiously shouting at Qin Feng. The heroes in the system and the beasts of the immortal island were jumping up and down anxiously. However, Qin Feng was too heavily injured. At this moment, he didn't even have the strength to use his telekinesis to release them. Boom, boom, boom. The rumbling of the fighter jet surged over. Lei Shan shouted excitedly when he saw Qin Feng being blasted to the ground. He immediately dove down in the fighter jet and tried to use 2 more cannonballs to completely take Qin Feng's life. Rumble. A loud explosion sounded on the ground. The tracking cannonball was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, the crater became even wider. However, Lei Shan's face was filled with anger. He suddenly turned the jet around and rushed towards the sky in the distance. Stinking brat, even if you run to the ends of the earth, I will blow you into pieces. Lei Shan had long held a grudge against Qin Feng. He gritted his teeth and shouted. In the distance, another fighter jet appeared in the sky. It was Qin Feng's Black Dragon fighter jet. Previously, the Black Dragon fighter jet and the Black Dragon battle car were almost destroyed by the giant winged fire demon. After being repaired by the Thousand Treasure Pavilion for a period of time, they had recovered their battle capabilities. Qin Feng lay in the fighter jet powerlessly. He threw a large handful of pills into his mouth. The fighter jet turned on pilotless mode and automatically evaded the Lei Shan father and son's pursuit. Very quickly, Qin Feng realized something was wrong. The Black Dragon fighter jet was hit consecutively. It swayed and looked like it was going to crash. Little Pig, what fighter jet are those 2 flying? Isn't it the Flying Tiger fighter jet from before? Qin Feng still remembered how Lei Wanzhong and a group of Holy Gate's disciples had raided the tavern he was staying at not too long ago. Qin Feng even fought with Lei Wanzhong and destroyed Lei Wanzhong's Flying Tiger fighter. Little Pig said anxiously, Master, the opponent is flying the upgraded version of the Flying Tiger fighter jet, the White Eagle fighter jet. Is the White Eagle fighter jet very powerful? Even my Black Dragon can't beat it? Qin Feng sensed the danger. Little Pig said helplessly, Master, according to the evolution of the Star Technologies fighter jets, the first product was the Flying Tiger, then the Black Dragon, then the White Eagle, and then the White Phoenix. Qin Feng was very clear that the Black Dragon series of Star Technologies mecha was 1 level lower than the opponent's mecha. However, Qin Feng confirmed one fact. Lei Wanzhong was indeed a system user, and his character level was the same as is in the system. Behind him, the sky was filled with artillery fire. Qin Feng didn't even have the ability to escape. Seeing that the Black Dragon fighter jet was about to be destroyed, he immediately switched to the Hummingbird fighter jet. This fighter jet focused on speed, but it still couldn't shake off the Lei father and son's pursuit. The scene changed. The original martial arts battle turned into an aerial battle. The crowd on the ground was dumbfounded. Qin Feng felt that the Hummingbird fighter jet couldn't hold on any longer. His only option now was to hide in Immortal Spirit City. If he did that, he would be safe, but what about the girls and the Immortal Spirit sect disciples? Also, Immortal Spirit City would be taken over by the Lei father and son. Ding! Congratulations, host Qin Feng, for completing the mission of building a technology city in China. The system rewards host Qin Feng 1 million Hedonist points and a lava flying armor. The host Qin Feng has a total of 1,100,000 Hedonist points. At this critical moment, the system notification sounded, and light suddenly appeared in the darkness in front of Qin Feng. He didn't have time to think and immediately looked at the interface of Star Technology. He wanted to buy a White Phoenix fighter jet. That was the evolved version of the White Eagle fighter jet. Chapter 1481. Qin Feng opened Star Tech's interface and quickly found the White Phoenix. White Phoenix Star Tech's S-rank battle equipment was very powerful. Compared to the White Eagle, it had the addition of precise positioning cannons and other super powerful functions. System price: 1 million Hedonist points. After reading the introduction of the White Phoenix, Qin Feng only had one thought. This battle equipment is so fucking expensive. Master, Star Tech's S-rank battle equipment is a bit more expensive, but it's worth it. Little Pig said. Qin Feng thought of the Black Dragon series. What's the grade of the Black Dragon series? It's also S-rank battle equipment. However, the Black Dragon series is the weakest among S-rank battle equipment. The White Phoenix series is the strongest S-rank battle equipment, Little Pig said. Qin Feng curled his lips. In the end, they were all S-rank battle equipment. However, he looked at the Black Dragon series and found that it was half the price of the White Phoenix series. Even though his heart ached, Qin Feng quickly bought a White Phoenix. He hadn't even warmed up the 1 million Hedonist points he had just earned, and it was gone in the blink of an eye. At this moment, the Hummingbird battle aircraft's appearance changed. The originally slender aircraft became wide. The wings on both sides were snow-white, and there were 8 tracking cannons under the wings. There were also 2 laser cannons on both sides of the front of the aircraft. The most unique thing was that the White Phoenix had a notch on the top, which hid this type of aircraft's unique precision positioning cannons. In the blink of an eye, the Hummingbird became the White Phoenix. Lei Shan was so focused on destroying Qin Feng that he didn't notice these changes. Seeing that Qin Feng was getting closer and closer, a playful smile appeared on his face. Lei Shan, maintain a certain distance from that brat's battle aircraft. Lei Wanzhong's serious voice suddenly came from the cockpit. Lei Shan said disapprovingly, "Dad, I'm about to destroy that guy, and you're telling me to retreat now." Lei Wanzhong said anxiously, "Didn't you notice that guy's battle aircraft changed? I feel like something's wrong." As Lei Wanzhong spoke, the White Eagle battle aircraft he was piloting slowed down. Lei Shan did not mind. He said confidently, "Dad, don't be so suspicious. That guy's mech hasn't changed. Besides, so what if that Qiao guy changed his mech? Can it compare to the White Eagle mech that Dad gave me?" Lei Wanzhong was speechless. He was still very confident in the White Eagle mech. However, he was still a little worried. Seeing that his son was chasing after Qin Feng, Lei Wanzhong knew it was too late to say anything now. "Haha. Son of a bitch with the surname Qiao, weren't you very arrogant a few days ago? You've become a coward today. Do you think you can escape? Watch me blow up your lousy plane." Lei Shan looked at the notification on the mech that they had entered the attack range and cursed in agitation. He pressed the launch button without hesitation, and the 2 shells immediately turned into smoke and shot out. However, there was no sound of the fighter jet exploding. When Lei Shan looked over, he discovered that Qin Feng's fighter jet had disappeared. "Lei Shan, watch your back." Lei Wanzhong's anxious roar came from the driver's seat. Lei Shan switched to rear-view mode and broke out in a cold sweat. 100 meters behind him, Qin Feng's white fighter jet was hot on his tail. If the opponent fired 2 artillery shells, Lei Shan would definitely be killed.
Dad.
Quick, fire the cannons. Lei Shan didn't have time to turn around and yelled. Lei Wanzhong snapped out of his shock and immediately fired 2 artillery shells. Immediately, 2 trails of white smoke appeared in the sky. The artillery shells were as fast as lightning, and the moment they were fired, there was a loud bang in the sky. Rumble. The sky was filled with flames and smoke, making it difficult to see what was happening. Lei Wanzhong heaved a long sigh of relief and shouted into the microphone excitedly, "Son, are you all right? That brat is already dead. Let's turn around and bombard the spiritual immortal sect. Once we destroy them, the spiritual immortal city will be ours." Lei Wanzhong's voice trembled with excitement when he thought about taking over the huge spiritual immortal city. However, a moment later, the smile on his face froze. He looked at the white fighter jet flying in the sky and felt that something was wrong.
Son?
Lei Shan, say something? Are you all right? Lei Wanzhong yelled anxiously, but he didn't receive a reply. He hurriedly turned around and flew towards the ground. When he saw the remains of the fighter jet in the crater, Lei Wanzhong was so angry that he almost vomited blood. His 2 artillery shells had actually killed his son. "Xiao Feng, I want you to die a horrible death." Lei Wanzhong suddenly turned around and flew towards the sky as if he had gone mad. However, just as he turned around, he saw the white fighter jet flying towards him like a white stream of light. "Lei Wanzhong, I wanted to let you live for a few more days before destroying you. Who would have thought that you'd be tired of living? Then I'll fulfill your wish." Qin Feng's loud roar came from the sky. His voice was transmitted through the loudspeaker. It was like a muffled clap of thunder, causing everyone on the ground to tremble in fear. Lei Wanzhong didn't retreat and flew over in his white eagle fighter jet. His angry voice reverberated in the sky. "You want to destroy me with a mere piece of scrap metal? What a joke. Today, I'll show you the power of my white eagle fighter jet." Lei Wanzhong didn't care about Qin Feng's fighter jet at all. To him, Lei Shan had been destroyed because Qin Feng had fled too quickly, causing him to blow up his son's white eagle fighter jet by mistake. Otherwise, Qin Feng's fighter jet wouldn't have been able to destroy the white eagle fighter jet at all. Just as he finished his roar, both his hands slammed on the launch button. In an instant, almost all the missiles had been fired. A deafening sound. Numerous streams of white mist whizzed past like dragons, and tiny laser bullets filled the sky. But Qin Feng piloted the White Phoenix mech and did not retreat at all. The mech was like a nimble swallow, turning left and right in the air, adopting all sorts of strange flying postures, deftly dodging Lei Wanzhong's series of artillery attacks. In just a few breaths' time, Qin Feng was already not far from Lei Wanzhong. Lei Wanzhong's old eyes finally showed a trace of shock. He looked at the undamaged White Phoenix fighter jet in disbelief, feeling as if he was dreaming. "Your attack is too weak. I'll let you have a taste of my attack." Just as Qin Feng finished speaking, the notch on the top of the White Phoenix fighter jet suddenly opened, and a strange-looking white turret extended out. This turret was the precision positioning missile. When Qin Feng bought this brand new White Phoenix fighter jet, the precision positioning missile came with a cannonball. Lei Wanzhong seemed to have sensed danger and hurriedly turned on the thrusters. The tail of the White Eagle fighter jet sprayed blue flames, and it instantly turned into a beam of light and shot out. The precision positioning missile was ready. Looking at Lei Wanzhong, who had already escaped several kilometers away, Qin Feng's heart was a little uncertain. Could he still hit him from such a distance? Rumble. Just as he was guessing, the missile had already been fired. A stream of white mist cut through the sky, like a bolt of lightning. Almost at the same time, a deafening explosion came from high up in the sky. Lei Wanzhong's White Eagle fighter jet had already been destroyed and fell to the ground. Rumble. The moment it landed, another deafening explosion was heard, causing the empty ground to be filled with dust. The commotion was like an earthquake. The crowd on the ground had long been dumbfounded. They were all people of China, and had never seen such a spectacular and intense high-tech battle. It felt like a mythical world. White light flashed high up in the sky. In just a few breaths' time, Qin Feng's White Phoenix fighter jet had landed steadily. With a slight thought, the huge White Phoenix fighter jet suddenly disappeared, shocking the crowd once again. In a huge crater, there was the wreckage of the destroyed White Eagle fighter jet. White smoke rose from the crater, and there was still a trace of life hidden within. Qin Feng jumped down, and in a short while, he carried the half-dead Lei Wanzhong back to the ground. The shock in Lei Wanzhong's eyes had yet to fade. He couldn't understand how his White Eagle fighter jet had been defeated. "You also have a system?" Lei Wanzhong asked seriously. He realized that he was about to die, and he wanted to understand the situation before he died. Qin Feng didn't hide it. "That's right, I have the Hedonist sovereign system." "What's your system?" Lei Wanzhong's expression kept changing. He had already suspected Qin Feng back in Fire Beacon City's Science and Technology Museum, and now he had confirmed his guess. Don't kill me. I can give you many unexpected things." Lei Wanzhong suddenly lost his arrogance, and directly knelt in front of Qin Feng to beg for mercy. Qin Feng's expression was indifferent. He and Lei Wanzhong had long since become mortal enemies. How could he let this person go? "You should go in peace. After I devour your system, those things you mentioned will still be mine." Lei Wanzhong still wanted to beg for mercy, but he suddenly felt a powerful will enter his mind. He only struggled for a moment, and then he completely lost his consciousness. This wasn't the first time Qin Feng devoured a system, and the process was very smooth. He now understood Lei Wanzhong's situation. This guy had the sovereign modification system. This system could modify all kinds of items, mainly technological products. In an instant, Qin Feng figured out many things. No wonder the products displayed in Fire Beacon City's Science and Technology Museum were all modified, especially the energy supply. All of them were powered by spirit stones.
Ding.
Host Qin Feng has successfully devoured the sovereign modification system. You are rewarded with 1 million hedonist points. The system's notification sounded, and Qin Feng's hedonist points skyrocketed to 1 million. At this point, the technological battle had ended. However, the group of Sacred Gate disciples had yet to recover from their shock. Qin Feng leaped to the entrance of Spiritual Immortal Gate. He stood ramrod straight, like a god of war that had descended to the world. The ground around him flowed with blood, like a river. It was a scene of destruction after a great battle. "Qing Chen, where do you think you're going?" Qin Feng suddenly roared. Qing Chen, who was about to secretly escape, immediately stopped in her tracks. Before coming here, she swore that she would capture Qin Feng. However, this outcome was completely out of her expectations. "Xiao Feng, as long as you spare me this time, I can guarantee that the Thousand Shadows sect will not cause trouble for your spiritual immortal gate. However, if you kill me today, the disciples of the Thousand Shadows sect will definitely fight you to the death." Chapter 1482. Qing Chen had witnessed Qin Feng's strength. This person could even kill Taoist Feng, who was at the pinnacle of Qi Stage 9. What was a mere Thousand Shadows sect to him? However, Qing Chen had no other trump cards. She could only brace herself and bring up the Thousand Shadows sect. Qin Feng was amused. He said indifferently, "I destroyed the Wind Sun Palace. What does the Thousand Shadows sect have to fear?" Qing Chen's heart sank. She suddenly raised her exquisite face and shouted, "Since I've fallen into your hands, you can do whatever you want to me. Whether I kill you or not will depend on your performance.
Come with me."
Qin Feng turned and walked into Spirit Sect, leaving everyone standing there in a daze and guessing. Now, Qing Chen was naked, and she was a pretty beauty. Qin Feng had called her into Celestial Spirits Sect alone. It was obvious what he wanted to do. Qing Chen could feel countless gazes staring at her in the dark. She felt humiliated. However, in the face of her life, she still followed him in. "Why did you call me here?" Qing Chen asked coldly as soon as she entered the room. Qin Feng sat on the sofa. The buildings and furniture in Spirit's sect were all in the style of the outside world. Qing Chen was shocked. Sit down first. Qin Fen's attitude was neither warm nor cold. Since Qing Chen had followed him in, she was prepared to be toyed with by Qin Fen. She had already thought it through. At most, she would be toyed with for a while. She would have a chance to take revenge in the future. If she was killed now, everything would really be over. Stop pretending. If you want to do it, then do it. Qing Chen puffed out her chest, looking like she was ready to risk everything. She was naked, but her figure was still very voluptuous. Qin Fen almost spat out his tea. Ahem, you've misunderstood. I'm not interested in your body. I called you here to ask you some questions. If you answer truthfully, I can spare your life. Qing Chen blushed and looked at Qin Fen suspiciously. Qin Fen's eyes were as clear as water. Even though she was naked, he did not react at all. Qing Chen realized that she was overthinking. Get me some clothes first, Qing Chen said, blushing. Qin Fen waved his hand. Go find them yourself. Qing Chen quickly found a dress that Zhao Lingxian had worn and put it on before returning to Qin Feng's side. She realized that Qin Feng did not have any killing intent towards her, so she felt more at ease. What do you want to ask? Qing Chen's expression became cold again. About Qing Ying, tell me everything you know. Qin Feng went straight to the point. Qing Chen was stunned. She did not know what relationship Qiao Feng had with Qing Ying. This was the second time this fellow had asked about Qing Ying. Qin Fen's expression turned cold. Qin Feng's expression turned cold. Answer whatever I ask. Otherwise, I can't guarantee your life. Qing Chen felt aggrieved. She was the sect leader of the Thousand Shadow sect, yet she was being threatened by a brat in his early 20s. Qing Chen could not do anything against Fen's threat. Qing Ying, Qingbi and I are very good sisters. Qing Chen's expression suddenly became deep, as if he was reminiscing. Qing Ying was born with a natural charm, and her aptitude was the best in the Thousand Shadow sect. She was our eldest senior sister, and Master Qing deeply doted on her. However, 20 years ago, eldest senior sister came out of seclusion and went to the outside world. She fell in love with a man and gave birth to a son. He stayed in the outside world and refused to come back. Master Qingzun was furious and brought people out of the mountain to capture her, but it caused a great war between the outside world and China. Later on, Master Primogenitor returned on his own. Eldest senior sister seemed to have remained in the outside world. 2 years ago, eldest senior sister suddenly received news that she had returned to the Divine Prefecture. Master stubbornly went all over China to look for senior sister. Since then, there has been no news of her. Qing Chen spoke in great detail, telling him everything she knew. After Qin Fen made some deductions, he was certain that this woman was not lying. This was because Qin Fen had already obtained some information about his mother, which was similar to what Qing Chen was saying. For a moment, many questions surged in Qin Feng's mind. According to Qing Chen, his mother had stayed in the secular world of Huaxia for a total of 18 years. Where had she been during these 18 years? Why did he return to the Divine Great Land 2 years ago? Furthermore, the formation in the Divine Great Land loosened once every 20 years or so. 2 years ago was clearly not the time for the formation to open. How did his mother return? Qin Fen racked his brains but could not figure out the reason. He looked at Qing Chen and asked, Back then, when my mother appeared in the Divine Great Land, where did she appear? Qin Fen accidentally let the cat out of the bag. Qing Chen felt as if she had been struck by lightning. She pointed at him in a daze and said, You? What did you just say? You are eldest senior sister's child from the outside world? Since things had come to this, Qin Fen could not be bothered to hide it anymore. That's right. My name is Qin Fen. I came to the Divine Prefecture from the outside world to look for Ling Xian and my mother, Qing Ying. Qing Chen was shocked again. Qin Fen? You are the Qin Fen who is wanted by all the sects in the Divine Prefecture? This old woman's reaction displeased Qin Fen. He suppressed his voice and said, Let's not talk about that. Answer my question first. The shock in Qing Chen's eyes had not disappeared. She took a while to calm down gradually. I really did not expect eldest senior sister's child to have grown up so much. He is as powerful as eldest senior sister. 2 years ago, news of eldest senior sister returning to the divine great land spread, but no one knows where she is. Qingchen paused for a moment. Her expression suddenly became mysterious. Actually, the divine great land is not big, but it is not small either. Master Qingzun has been looking for her for 2 years without any news. This can only mean one thing. Eldest senior sister is no longer in the divine great land. Qin Fin was stunned. No longer in the divine great land? Where is she then? Qingchen wanted to say something but hesitated. Qin Fin was a little impatient. Speak your mind. Young hero Qin, you must know of the existence of the immortal Qi realm. However, there is not a single immortal venerated immortal Qi realm in the divine great land. I suspect that they are in another plane. Eldest senior sister and Master Qingzun might have gone there. Of course, Qin Fin knew that there was an even higher plane. The immortal island that he had opened was an immortal venerated plane. However, Qin Fin could not confirm whether the immortal island was the only immortal venerated plane. What plane are you talking about? Qin Fin hurriedly asked. Qingchen smiled bitterly and shook her head. I have only stepped into the middle stage of stage 9. I am too far away from the immortal venerated plane. There is no way I can come into contact with that plane. I have only heard about it. However, Taoist Foam, whom you killed, definitely knows about it. Unfortunately, he is already dead. Qin Fin rolled his eyes. If he had known, he would have spared Taoist Feng's life. However, he quickly pulled himself together. Then the other 3 sect leaders of the Divine Great Land's 5 Supremes should know about it too, right? Qingchen nodded and said, Su Sun of the Empyrean Terminus sect, Hun Jun of the Return Net Realm, and Long Bai Feng of the Azure Dragon sect. These 3 sect leaders are all at the peak of stage 9. They are not weaker than Taoist Foam. They definitely know about the even more mysterious plane. Qin Fin calmed down. As long as there were people who knew about it, it was fine. When the time came, he could capture the 3 of them and interrogate them. Qing Chen's expression was not as relaxed as Qin Fin's. She frowned and said, Young hero Qin, since you are eldest senior sister's child, we are on the same side. We had some conflicts in the past, but that was because I had no choice but to protect the Thousand Shadow Sect's position. Now, you have destroyed the Wind Sun Palace, defeated my Thousand Shadow Sect, and eliminated the Lei family of Fire Beacon City's Science and Technology Museum. This news must have already started to spread throughout the Divine Great Land. If my guess is correct, the other 3 sects will soon surround and attack your spiritual immortal sect. Qin Fin had already expected this. This was the Divine Great Land, the territory of the Divine Great Land's 5 Supremes. If a new sect suddenly appeared and wreaked havoc in the Heavenly Court, it would be strange if the other 3 sects did not do anything. Oh, when did you become so kind? Are you worried about my spiritual immortal sect? Qin Fin smiled at Qingchen. From Qin Fin's cold smile, Qingchen knew that he had seen through her thoughts. She simply said, Young hero Qin, the Thousand Shadows sect has not been destroyed yet. However, it only exists in name. The other 3 sects did not attack your spiritual immortal sect first, but my Thousand Shadows sect. Seeing that this old woman had taken the initiative to speak the truth and did not use him as a tool, Qin Fin's opinion of this woman changed slightly. Moreover, the Thousand Shadows sect was the sect that his mother was in. Qin Fin would not watch as the Thousand Shadows sect was destroyed. Since that's the case, then let the Thousand Shadows sect's disciples come to spiritual immortal sect first. When the time comes, we can face the enemy together. Qin Fin's tone was very casual, as if he did not care about the other 3 sections. If that's the case, then wouldn't it be equivalent to giving away the Thousand Shadows sect's territory for nothing? Qing Chen's expression changed drastically. She clearly did not agree. Qin Fin said indifferently, What's there to be afraid of? As long as the Thousand Shadows sect's disciples are not destroyed, it's fine. Wait for me to enter seclusion for a few days. When I come out, I will help you take back your sect. Qin Fen was full of confidence. He planned to go to Immortal Island again and strive to break through to the peak of true ninth stage. By then, who in the entire divine great land would be his match? However, Qing Chen did not know this. She did not think that Qin Fen would succeed. Although Qin Fen had killed Taoist Feng with his own strength not long ago, Qin Fen had barely won that battle. He was the one who had almost died. Moreover, Taoist Feng's strength was at the lowest level compared to the other three sect leaders. If the three sect leaders joined forces to attack, Qin Fen would most likely be killed in less than 10 moves. What about the experts of your spiritual immortal sect? What about the experts at the peak of true Qi stage 9th stage? Qing Chen asked. Qin Fen pursed his lips. He thought to himself, how could the spiritual immortal sect have experts at the peak of true Qi stage 9th stage? He was the only one at true Qi stage 9th stage. You have misunderstood. The spiritual immortal sect does not have experts at true Qi stage 9th stage. I am the only one holding down the fort, Qin Fen said truthfully. Qing Chen rolled her eyes. She almost died of depression. She did not expect the spiritual immortal sect, which had recently become famous in the divine great land, to be like this. It's over, it's over. It looks like our two sects will definitely be destroyed. Qing Chen's expression was dim. She had never thought that Qin Fen alone would be able to break out of this predicament. Qin Fen did not explain further. He knew that the three sects would soon make their move. What he needed to do now was to seize the time to break through to the next stage. Chapter 1483. Although Qing Chen was not optimistic about Qin Feng, she still called all the disciples of the Thousand Shadows sect to Immortal Spirit City. This way, they could at least hold on for a little longer. When Qing Bai, Qing Xiu, and the rest arrived at Immortal Spirit sect, they were shocked. They had heard of Qin Feng's recent achievements. This person had actually killed Taoist Feng and subdued the Thousand Shadows sect. It was truly terrifying. For a moment, hundreds of true Qi disciples gathered in Immortal Spirit sect. This formation was more spectacular than any of the sacred sects in the divine land. However, everyone's expressions were grave. They were on tenterhooks every day, deeply afraid that the three sects of the Empyrean Terminus sect would join forces to kill them. Qin Feng was currently sitting cross-legged on Immortal Island. He had already cultivated for a day and a night. The spiritual energy on Immortal Island was extremely dense, especially under the fire demon tree. The spiritual energy seemed inexhaustible. However, it was clearly impossible to break through to the peak of true 9 in such a short period of time, just by cultivating hard. Qin Feng stood up and looked at the distant land shrouded in immortal mist. He knew that he had to explore and search for spiritual ponds or spiritual herbs. Otherwise, Immortal Spirit sect and the Thousand Shadows sect would definitely be destroyed. The four beasts seemed to understand his thoughts and had already roared as they ran ahead to open up a path. Qin Feng did not go to the previously developed areas. The treasures in those areas had already been taken by him. There were probably no more opportunities. Surrounded by immortal mist, Qin Feng did not know where the ground before him was. He carefully felt his way and unknowingly arrived at a small forest. Brat, I advise you to hand over the immortal cloud grass. Otherwise, don't blame us for being impolite. As soon as he stepped into the forest, Qin Feng discovered a group of people arguing not far away. There were 4 people there. One of them wore a white robe and stood there. The other 3 wore black robes. The group of 3 relied on their numbers and seemed to want to snatch a spiritual herb from the white-robed youth's hand. Humph. A mere star order dares offend my extreme celestial sect? Aren't you afraid that Tai's sect will destroy you after this? Although the white-robed man was alone, his attitude was not weak. The faces of the 3 black-robed men sank. Clearly, they were fearful of the name Extreme Celestial Sect. After a brief moment of hesitation, the beefy leader stared at the immortal cloudgrass in the white-robed man's hand and said, "If the 3 of us kill you here, who would know that we offended someone from Extreme Celestial Sect?" The white-robed youth's eyes flashed with a dignified look. He realized that the other party wanted to kill him and rob him. Are you sure you want to do this? The three of you are merely ants at the second layer of immortal chi. Do you really think you can kill me? Humph. You speak as if you are very powerful. You just stepped into the third level of immortal chi. Why can't I kill you? As soon as the black-clothed brawny man's voice fell, he had already flown over and stabbed with his sword. That stalk of immortal cloud grass was simply too alluring. That was the best material for cultivators below the immortal chi realm to stabilize and strengthen their cultivation. His sword seemed light and nimble, but it caused the weather to change. Several bolts of lightning fell from the sky, causing Qin Feng to stare blankly. Rumble. A loud explosion sounded. The white-robed youth dodged it easily, but the ground where he was standing just now exploded into a huge pit. Even the surrounding trees were toppled. You really dare to make a move? Today, I want you to die without a burial ground. The white-robed youth was enraged. He leaped lightly and instantly appeared in front of the burly man. He struck out with his palm, and a huge golden palm print exploded in the void. Rumble. With a loud explosion, the black-clothed brawny man was sent flying. He was only at the second level of immortal chi realm. In a one-on-one fight, there was no way he could defeat the white-robed youth. What are you waiting for? Attack together. After spitting out a few mouthfuls of blood, the burly man got up and stabbed with his sword again. His two companions were jolted to their senses and rushed forward to help with malevolent expressions on their faces. In an instant, the forest was filled with sword light, and the sword chi was mixed with lightning. The white-robed youth was forced to retreat continuously. Although he was barely able to block the ferocious attacks of the three people, he gradually fell into a disadvantageous position. In just a few short minutes of battle, the surrounding area had been reduced to a wasteland. Some of the beasts in the forest were unlucky, and trees fell one after another. The eyes of the leader of the black-clothed brawny men lit up. He had found an opportunity. His speed suddenly increased, and the sword in his hand became sharper and sharper. The tip of the sword was aimed directly at the white-robed youth's heart. The sword chi and lightning merged together, and this sword was incomparably ferocious. The white-robed youth hurriedly struck out with his palm, blocking the opponent's sword attack and sending the black-clothed brawny man flying several meters away. However, the brawny man's two companions attacked from the left and right, stabbing the white-robed youth's arm and thigh.
Pucci.
The sword pierced his bones, and the white-robed youth howled in pain. His face was filled with madness as he grabbed the two swords that had pierced his body. The two Star Sect disciples were shocked. They wanted to pull out their swords, but they were unable to do so. Without waiting for them to retreat and escape, the white-robed youth from the Great Celestial Sect struck out with his palm, sending the two flying at the same time. A mere Star Sect ant dares to provoke me? Go to hell. The white-robed youth waved his hand and threw the two swords in his body to the ground. He could not care less about the spurting blood. He leaped into the air and struck out with his palm, causing two golden palm prints to explode on the ground. Rumble. A loud sound shook the heavens. The two Star Sect disciples were blown to smithereens in the huge pit. The white-robed youth was about to strike a third time, but he saw the black-clothed brawny man escape with his sword. His speed was faster than a rabbit, and in the blink of an eye, he disappeared into the depths of the forest. A battle between immortal venerables came ferociously and ended quickly. Qin Feng, who was standing in the distance, had long been dumbfounded. Any one of the four people could have killed him with one slap. The people on this immortal island were too terrifying.
Who are you?
Why have you been hiding in the dark? The white-robed youth's cold voice resounded. Qin Feng was startled. He had been discovered. I am just passing by. I have no ill intentions. Qin Feng quickly calmed down. This was not the first time he met a native on this immortal island. Last time, he met an immortal venerable with immortal chi level 1 and tricked that person into following him. The white-robed youth did not come over. He was heavily injured and was very wary of Qin Feng. He was afraid that Qin Feng's cultivation level was higher. Qin Feng did not dare to go over carelessly. The two of them stood tens of meters apart in the forest. The air around them seemed to solidify. Since you have no ill intentions, why are you not leaving? The white-robed youth's voice was cold. Just as Qin Feng was about to leave, Little Pig's anxious voice resounded in his mind. Master, that person has immortal cloud grass on him. That is the best spiritual herb for breaking through to the immortal Qi realm. Qin Feng knew how powerful immortal cloud grass was from Little Pig's excitement. Moreover, the Emerald Spirit Ring had already sent out a strong signal, indicating that there was a treasure nearby. This time, Qin Feng stood on the spot, hesitating. He was in a hurry to break through to the next realm. Why are you not leaving? The other party was slightly nervous, and his voice became colder and colder. Qin Feng braced himself and walked over. Just as he reached the man's side, a surging immortal qi shot out from the other party's body. The pressure almost made Qin Feng faint. What are you trying to do? If you dare to take another step, don't blame me for attacking. Qin Feng stopped. At this time, he was only 10 meters away from the white-robed youth. Little brother, don't be afraid. I have no ill intentions. The white-robed youth clearly did not believe him. He frowned and shouted, Why are you still here if you have no ill intentions? I don't know you. I advise you to leave quickly. Qin Feng was worried. If he expressed his intentions, would he be killed by the other party with a single slap? However, since he had already walked over, he could only brace himself and say, Little brother, I have my eyes on the immortal cloud grass on you. I wonder. Before he could finish speaking, the white-robed youth's expression became furious. Humph. As expected, you have ill intentions. You still have so many excuses. Do you really think I'm afraid of you? Seeing that the man was about to attack, Qin Feng hurriedly said, Young hero, don't be anxious. I'm here to discuss with you. Can you sell the immortal cloud grass to me? The white-robed youth's expression changed slightly. He looked at Qin Feng suspiciously. He did not know what this person was trying to do. Humph. The immortal cloud grass is the best cultivation material for cultivators below stage 3. I still need it to stabilize my realm. Why would I sell it to you? Seeing that the other party's attitude was unyielding, Qin Feng realized that this matter could not be negotiated. However, at this time, the other party continued to snort coldly. Moreover, your realm looks ordinary. What treasure could you possibly have? If you really want to trade for it with your flying sword. Otherwise, leave. In the Divine Land, only the 5 supreme sect leaders could get their hands on a flying sword. Even on this immortal island, not everyone had a flying sword. One had to be at least a disciple who had stepped into stage for Immortal Qi Realm to have the right to obtain a flying sword. The white-robed youth brought up the flying sword because he guessed that Qin Feng did not have one. He wanted Qin Feng to back off. Unexpectedly, Qin Feng's expression became excited. He really did not lack a flying sword. Little pig, is it worth it to trade a starry sky flying sword for a immortal cloud grass? Qin Feng was not in a hurry to agree to the man. He first asked for Little Pig's opinion. That's hard to say, master. If someone else used a flying sword to trade for a immortal cloud grass, they would definitely suffer a great loss. But it's not a loss for master. After master obtained the whirlwind golden wheel, the flying sword's ability to fly is almost useless. Halfway through, Little Pig seemed to suddenly remember something. He shouted excitedly, Master, why do you want to trade a flying sword? You can just buy a fighter from the outside world from the system to trade. Qin Feng's eyes brightened. He really did not think of this idea. However, he quickly became worried. If the other party saw through the plane, would that guy shed all pretense of cordiality? Don't worry, master. Even the people of the Divine Land have never seen the technological products of the outside world. The immortal supremes of the immortal island are even more clueless about the outside world, Little Pig shouted excitedly.
Hey,
what are you standing there for? If you don't have a flying sword, then hurry up and leave. At this time, the white-robed man was a little impatient. He felt that Qin Feng wanted to rob him. Ahem. Fine, I'll trade with you. Qin Feng was ready to give it a try. The white-robed man was stunned. He clearly did not expect Qin Feng to agree. However, he was not happy. Instead, he stared at Qin Feng with vigilance. "Take out the flying sword, and let me see it. If you dare to lie to me, I'll make you regret it." Chapter 1484. Qin Feng laughed. "Young hero, don't worry. I don't have a flying sword." Before he finished, the man shouted angrily, "What are you talking about if you don't have a flying sword? Are you looking for trouble on purpose?" Qin Feng was depressed. Whether in the secular world of China or the land of China, he was one of the best. But now that he was on the immortal island, he had to be careful of everyone he met. That feeling was really depressing. "Although I don't have a flying sword, I have a treasure that is more powerful than a flying sword." Hearing this, the man's expression changed drastically. His voice trembled as he said, "A treasure that is more powerful than a flying sword? You mean a flying artifact?" Qin Feng didn't know what the flying artifact was. With a thought, a flying tiger mech landed at the side, giving the man a shock. What is this? Could it really be a flying artifact? After Qin Feng devoured Lei Wanzhong's sovereign transformation system, he realized that there were a few star technologies in that guy's system, and this flying tiger mech was one of them. Now that Qin Feng had the black dragon mech and the white phoenix mech, he didn't care about the flying tiger mech at all. He planned to use it to exchange for the man's celestial cloud grass. "That's right. This is a flying artifact. How about it? Do you want to exchange?" Qin Feng's serious look stunned the man in white. He didn't expect Qin Feng to really want to exchange for the celestial cloud grass and a flying artifact. You show me this flying artifact first. If it really works, I'll exchange with you." The man's voice became excited, and his eyes couldn't leave the flying tiger mech. Qin Feng jumped into the mech and pressed the start button. The flying tiger mech roared into the sky. He even fired 2 artillery shells casually, blowing up a patch of trees. After circling in the sky, Qin Feng landed steadily. When he got off the mech, he found the man in white standing there like a stone pillar. "Oh my God! It really is a flying artifact, and one that can attack. Although the attack is too weak, the flying speed is passable. Young hero, do you really want to exchange with me?" This time, it was the man in white's turn to look at Qin Feng expectantly, as if he was begging Qin Feng. Qin Feng felt gloomy when he heard the man talking to himself. After all, this flying tiger mech was a product of star technology, but the other party despised its attack power for being too weak. "Of course I have to trade. Otherwise, why would I take it out?" Qin Feng said indifferently. He suddenly felt that the people of the immortal island were too lame. A single fighter jet had shocked the other party to such an extent. The white-robed youth jumped up in surprise. "That's great. Young hero, I am Zhongbing, a disciple of extreme celestial sect. In the future, we will be brothers. Young hero, may I know which sect you are from? What's your name?" Before, Zhongbing's attitude was cold, as if Qin Feng owed him $5 million. Now, he had changed his attitude to one of flattery, which made Qin Feng speechless. "It's not good to reveal too much about my sect." Qin Feng put on the air of an expert. He was afraid that if he revealed too much, he would be killed by the other party. Zhongbing quickly smiled and said, Yes, I spoke too much. Young hero, when are we going to change?" Zhongbing hurriedly took out the immortal cloud grass. Immediately, a dense spiritual energy floated in the surroundings. Qin Feng originally only wanted to trade for this immortal cloud grass. Now that he saw Zhongbing's impatient expression, he had some ideas. Cough, cough. "Young hero Zhongbing, you also know how powerful and precious this flying magic tool is. I'm afraid that one immortal cloud grass isn't enough, right?" Qin Feng asked tentatively, feeling a little guilty. Zhongbing nodded repeatedly. "Young hero, you are right. How can one immortal cloud grass compare to the value of a flying magic tool? However, I am just an ordinary disciple. I don't have many treasures on me. These spirit stones are all for you, and this spirit sword is also for you." Zhongbing took out all the things on him in one go. That so-called spirit sword was a purple-grade spirit weapon. Qin Feng didn't care about it at all. However, the quality of the 100 or so spirit stones was extremely good. They were many levels higher than the high-grade spirit stones in China. Forget it. Seeing that we are fated, I will accept your spirit stones and immortal cloud grass. As for the rest, you can keep them for yourself. You can have that flying magic tool, Qin Feng said with a magnanimous attitude. Zhang Bing was so excited that he danced with joy. He felt that he had hit the jackpot today. This was a flying magic tool. It was of a much higher grade than the flying sword. Even some powerful sects on the Immortal Island couldn't get their hands on it. Thank you so much, young hero. I hope that young hero can leave your name. If you have time in the future, you must come to Tai's sect to find me. I will treat you well. Zhang Bing spoke incoherently. Qin Feng kept the immortal cloud grass and spirit stones.
He wouldn't go to Tai's sect.
If he was found out that he wasn't from here, he would be killed in minutes. My name is Qin Feng. If I have time in the future, I will definitely meet up with young hero Zhang. Qin Feng said, I still have things to do. I will take my leave first. After saying that, he immediately left, leaving Zhang Bing dumbfounded on the spot. Qin Feng didn't explore other areas. He had met the local Immortal Supremes on the Immortal Island twice. Now he was a little afraid. He was lucky that he tricked the other 2 times. However, the next time, he might be killed by the other. After returning to the main city of the Immortal Island, Qin Feng sat cross-legged under the fire demon tree. There was a pile of spirit stones around him. These spirit stones were obtained from Zhang Bing. Every spirit stone contained extremely rich spiritual energy. Qin Feng took out the immortal cloud grass. It was a plant the size of a palm. No one would have thought that it would be so powerful. Little pig, should I swallow the immortal cloud grass? Qin Feng asked. Master, don't scare this cute little pig. The spiritual energy in the immortal cloud grass is rich and rich. It's the best cultivation material for cultivators below Immortal Qi Stage 3. With Master's current cultivation realm, you can't swallow it raw. Otherwise, your body will explode, and you will die. I suggest Master refine it into an immortal cloud pill. Qin Feng hurriedly removed the immortal cloud grass from his mouth. He almost swallowed it raw. After some understanding, Qin Feng found out that the immortal cloud pill was a type of Tier 7 immortal pill. In the alchemy conference in the outside world, he could only refine Tier 6 golden pills at most. Hua Tuo, on the other hand, could refine Tier 7 immortal pills. However, after subduing the purple cloud immortal fire and suffocation, Qin Feng's spiritual power had become stronger and stronger. He had reached the requirement to refine Tier 7 immortal pills. Qin Feng threw the immortal cloud grass into the system's alchemy pavilion. Then he bought some supplementary materials from the system. The process of refining the pills was relatively smooth. Half an hour later, 7 pills shimmering with white light rose from the pill furnace. Master, I suggest you try eating 2 immortal cloud pills first, Little Pig hurriedly reminded Qin Feng. Qin Feng kept 5 of the immortal cloud pills into the jade bottle and swallowed the other 2 pills. The pills melted in his mouth, and waves of medicinal fragrance wafted in his mouth. Instantly, waves of majestic and turbulent spiritual energy surged into Qin Feng's body. It expanded in his meridians and flowed along with his blood to every part of his body. Time ticked by. There was not much spiritual energy in these 2 immortal cloud pills. It was as though there was no end to it. Qin Feng felt as if his body had been cleansed. His bones became stronger, his meridians expanded and thickened, and the aura in his dantian became stronger, rumble. After an unknown amount of time, a loud sound came from Qin Feng's body. Instantly, he felt comfortable all over. It was as if a heavy pressure had been released. Qin Feng quickly sensed the state of his body. He realized that he had broken through to the peak of Stage 9 True Qi. He suppressed the joy in his heart and threw 2 immortal cloud pills into his mouth. Majestic spiritual energy surged again, filling up Qin Feng's body that was empty after his breakthrough. He continuously circulated the yin-yang harmony balance and repeated the process of absorbing and stabilizing spiritual energy. After an unknown amount of time, another loud sound came from his body. This time, it was so loud that it caused a sudden change in the weather. Several bolts of lightning struck the earth. Rumble. The huge commotion gave Qin Feng a fright. He hurriedly stopped his cultivation. Master, congratulations on breaking through to Stage 1 Immortal Qi. The commotion just now was caused by the heavenly tribulation. Little Pig sounded excited. Qin Feng was stunned. He immediately looked at his body. He could clearly feel that the true qi in his body had undergone a huge change. His aura seemed to have been cleansed and became more pure and mysterious. His aura was as majestic as the sea. How could his true qi compare? Stage 1 Immortal Qi. Is this the power of the Immortal Qi realm? Qin Feng's eyes shone brightly. After muttering to himself, he suddenly punched the air. It looked like a simple punch, but it caused a change in the weather. A thunderous sound rang out. A huge fist imprint with flying swords whizzed past, scaring the four beasts into howling. The power of the Immortal Qi realm shocked even Qin Feng. He knew that he was invincible in the entire divine land. Even if he met someone from the Immortal Island who was below Stage 2, he wouldn't have to be afraid. Thinking that he still had 3 Immortal Cloud pills left, Qin Feng decided to continue breaking through. However, Little Pig stopped him. Master, you've broken through 2 realms in a row. The most important thing now is to stabilize your strength. If you continue to break through, it will bring obstacles to your future cultivation. Qin Feng understood Little Pig's meaning. Cultivation was originally a heaven-defying act. It had always been done step by step. Although it felt good to increase one's level explosively, it would bring a bigger bottleneck in the future. Just like Hua Tuo, he used medicinal pills to rise to the true Qi realm. However, he couldn't even defeat Shimin Chui Shui, who was at Stage 9 Inner Qi. After a series of breakthroughs, Qin Feng was in a good mood. He no longer cared about the 3 supreme sects of the divine land. He continued to sit cross-legged under the fire demon tree and began to absorb the spiritual qi stored in the dozens of spirit stones to stabilize his current realm. Cultivation knows no time. Unknowingly, Qin Feng stayed on the Immortal Island for a week. He absorbed all the spirit stones and completely stabilized his Stage 1 Immortal Qi realm. And in this week, the divine land had undergone a huge change. Ever since the news of him killing Taoist Feng and subduing the Thousand Shadows sect spread, all the sacred sects were secretly stirred. It seemed like a bloody war was about to break out at any time. Chapter 1485. Qin Feng had disappeared for 7 days. The entire spirituality sect was in a mess. Su Ruoro, the women, and the Qiao family knew that Qin Feng had gone to cultivate and break through. However, the other disciples of the spirituality sect and the Thousand Shadows sect did not believe this. 3 days ago, the news of the Thousand Shadows sect being taken over had spread across the divine continent. According to the time, the 3 supreme sects were about to attack the spirituality sect. At the entrance of the spirituality sect, hundreds of disciples from the 2 sects had gathered. The procession was spectacular, but everyone's expressions were not very good. Is there still no news of Elder Qiao? If we keep waiting like this, we'll all die. The spirituality sect disciples discussed incessantly. Elder Qiao couldn't have abandoned us and escaped, right? Although he's powerful, he can't beat the combined attacks of the 3 supreme sections. I think we shouldn't keep waiting like idiots. Let's run for our lives. If we wait until the Empyrean Terminus sect attacks, we won't even have time to run. The crowd was incredibly panicked. Under the might of the 3 supreme sects, everyone had already lost their confidence before the battle even started. Even Qing Chen started to worry. Could it be that Qin Feng had really escaped? Ling Xian, I was your sect leader before. Don't trick me, okay? Did Qin Feng escape already? Qing Chen looked at Zhao Ling Xian anxiously. Everyone's gazes fell on her. Qin Feng was everyone's pillar of support. If he escaped, who would dare to stay and fight? Zhao Lingxian was even more worried than everyone else. Over the past few days, she had been mentally and physically exhausted trying to calm everyone down. However, she still patiently explained, "Don't worry, everyone. Qiao Feng won't abandon us and run away. My sisters and I are all his women. If he really does leave, he'll take us with him." The discussion in the crowd finally quieted down a little. It was precisely because Zhao Lingxian and the women had been guarding the spirituality sect this entire time that everyone still had a sliver of hope. Just as everyone was distraught, someone in the crowd suddenly cried out, "Oh no! The enemy is attacking." Instantly, the crowd was in an uproar. Many people ran to the top of the mountain to check. On the plains at the bottom of the mountain, there was a dense mass of people rushing over. Just the grandeur of the dust flying through the air was enough to make people feel fearful. Oh no, it's the people from the 3 supreme sections. It's not just the 3 sections. Several other sects have come as well. The immortal spiritual sect is finished. Everyone run. We have to believe in Elder Qiao. He will definitely lead everyone to defend spiritual immortal gate. At the foot of the mountain, the enemy troops were galloping over. The hundreds of people on the top of the mountain were in a mess. Most of the disciples were still not optimistic about Qin Feng and had already abandoned their troops and fled. There were a few disciples who chose to stay, but the number was so small that it was negligible. The Thousand Shadows sect disciples looked at Qing Qin anxiously, waiting for her orders. Qing Bai had already stepped forward and said, "Since I've chosen to side with the spiritual immortal sect, I'll have to fight alongside them. I'll stay." Zhao Lingxian looked at her gratefully. This teacher of hers had always been good to her. Qing Xiu, Qing Zhu, and Qing Mei also stepped out. They were indebted to Qin Feng, so how could they run away? Qing Chun and the rest of the Thousand Shadows sect disciples were hesitant, especially those disciples. They were not related to Qin Feng at all, so they were not willing to stay and wait for death. "Since this is the will of the heavens, I'll leave it to fate." After a while, Qing Chun let out a long sigh. Her expression suddenly became serious. "Disciples of the Thousand Shadows sect, listen up. Today, we will fight to the death to protect the land of the immortal spiritual sect." Her order was met with a wave of sighs. The Thousand Shadows sect disciples were very unwilling, but no one dared to go against sect leader Qing Chen's orders. As if realizing that she did not have long to live, Qing Chen suddenly walked to Qing Bai's side. "Junior sister, there were some misunderstandings earlier. I hope you won't take it to heart." The shock in Qing Bai's eyes had yet to fade. She did not expect Qing Chen to choose to stay in the end. Qing Bai suddenly smiled. "Senior sister Qing Chen, I still remember the last time the 3 of us fought alongside each other. That was 20 years ago. I never thought that we would be able to fight again today. If only eldest senior sister Qingying was here as well, that would be perfect." The 2 sisters were on good terms. Actually, Qing Bai could understand some of Qing Chen's extreme actions. Now that there was no news of Master Qing Zun and eldest senior sister Qingying, the great Thousand Shadows sect fell on Qing Chen's shoulders. All these years, every step she took had been difficult. She was deeply afraid that one wrong step would destroy the Thousand Shadows sect. At this moment, Su Ruoro and the other 9 women were gathered together. They seemed to be saying goodbye. Even though it was the 9 of them, they were still worried about this battle. It was not that they did not believe in Qin Feng. It was just that the enemies they were going to face were too powerful. How could Qin Feng change the situation by himself? The hurried sound of horse hooves rang out. When everyone looked over, they realized that a few groups of people had already stepped onto the top of the immortal spiritual sect's mountain. Everyone's expressions immediately turned serious. The 9 women, Qing Chen, and the others rushed to the front of the enemy, maintaining a distance of over 10 meters. Everyone had long realized that the enemy was powerful. However, now that they were truly facing them, even Qing Chen was not confident. However, she forced herself to remain calm and stood at the top of the mountain. She whispered to Qing Bai beside her, "I'll hold them back later. You take everyone and leave." Qing Bai's expression was resolute. "Senior sister, We agreed to fight together. I won't be a deserter. Qing Chun was anxious. You're not deserters. Leaving is just a temporary measure. When you find Qin Feng, ask him to take revenge for me. Oh yes, Qin Feng is eldest senior sister Qing Ying's child. Qing Bai was stunned. She was stunned by this news. Her heart suddenly wavered. It was not that she was afraid of death, but she wanted to protect eldest senior sister's child and his women. Disciples of the immortal spiritual sect, listen up. Today, the leaders of the three supreme sects of the divine continent have come personally. If you know what's good for you, surrender obediently. The three supreme sects are magnanimous. They can spare your lives. One of the people who had arrived first walked out. It was the leader of 3-Star Mountain, Gu Li. Then, a few more people rode out on war horses. Humph. A mere immortal spiritual sect dares to behave atrociously in the divine continent. Where do you think the three supreme sects of the divine continent are? I've been unhappy with the immortal spiritual sect for a long time. Today, Twin Peaks, have come to suppress you. More and more people gathered on the flat ground at the peak of the immortal spiritual sect. 3-Star Mountain, Bailey Sect, Twin Peaks, Life and Death Sect, Poison Sect, North Clan, Soul Blade, Blazing Sun Sect, Fishing Sect. Zhao Ling Xian and the others had long guessed that the enemies this time were powerful, but they were still shocked by the array before them. This was a gathering of almost half of the divine continent's sacred sects. Up until now, the so-called three supreme sects of the divine continent had yet to show themselves. They did not need to show themselves at all. The many factions gathered at the peak of the immortal spiritual sect were enough to destroy Zhao Ling Xian and the others. Yo! Isn't this the leader of the Thousand Shadow sect, Qing Chun? You're here too? Someone recognized Qing Chun, and his tone was full of sarcasm. Before this, these people would not dare to offend the immortal spiritual sect and the Thousand Shadow sect. But now that the two sects had offended the three supreme sects of the divine continent, and seeing that the situation was hopeless, anyone would dare to jump out and shout. Although the Thousand Shadow sect only existed in name, Qing Chun was a powerful venerable in the middle stage of Stage 9 vital energy. She had always been high and mighty, so how could she tolerate being bullied by these ants in front of her? Today, I will lead the disciples of the Thousand Shadow sect to defend this place to the death. If any of you dare to take even half a step forward, I will definitely kill you. Qing Chun's body emitted a wave of cold air, making it hard for many people to breathe. The leader of 3-Star Mountain, Gu Li, had a cold expression on his face. Without backing down, he shouted, "Humph! Old woman, you are really short-sighted. You cannot understand the situation at hand. You are merely in the middle stage of Stage 9 vital energy. How dare you oppose 3 venerables? I can destroy you." 3-Star Mountain was considered a first-rate sect in the divine continent. Its power was only below that of the divine continent's 5 supreme sects. Gu Li was also in the middle stage of Stage 9 vital energy, so he was not afraid of Qing Chun. In an instant, the leader of the Bailey sect, Long Ao, and the leader of the Twin Peaks, Wei Bing, also jumped out. The two of them were also in the middle stage of Stage 9 vital energy. The three of them rode on horses and looked down on Qing Chun and the disciples of the Thousand Shadow sect. Their expressions were full of disdain. Take Qin Feng's woman and leave first. Seeing that this battle was unavoidable, Qing Chun quickly whispered into Qing Bai's ear. Then, she suddenly flew forward. Rumble. There was a sudden explosion. 3-Star Mountain's Gu Li could not react in time and was slapped off his horse by Qing Chun. The Bailey sect's Long Ao and the Twin Peaks' Wei Bing were instantly enraged. They attacked Qing Chun from the left and right. Qing Chun used her charming technique right from the start, tricking the two of them into exchanging blows. They were both injured and fell to the ground. The battle was about to begin. The crowd at the top of the mountain regained their senses and surged towards Ling Xian's sect like a surging tide. The disciples of the Thousand Shadows sect braced themselves and fought. The Qiao clan also mobilized the Beast clan army and started fighting. Qing Bai watched the intense battle with anxiety. However, in the end, She still stopped Zhao Lingxian and the other 9 women. All of you come with me. How could the 9 women be willing to leave? Zhao Lingxian said anxiously. Master Qingbai, now that Lingxian sect is in danger, how can we be deserters? Qingbai did not want to be like this either. However, she knew that even if everyone charged forward, they would only die. Now that the Thousand Shadows sect and Lingxian sect have lost their momentum, let's escape to a safe place first. Then, we'll find Qin Fun and discuss countermeasures. Qingbai began to agree with Qing Chen's suggestion. However, the 9 women were still unwilling to leave. At least, they would not leave before Qin Fun returned. The battle over there was abnormally intense. In just a few minutes, there were heavy casualties and the ground was covered in blood. Qing Chen could not hold on much longer. Seeing that Qingbai and the others had not left, she anxiously roared. What are you waiting for? Hurry up and leave. Rumble. Just as she finished speaking, she was sent flying by Gu Li's palm. She fell to the ground and spat out a few mouthfuls of blood. However, Gu Li did not continue to chase after Qing Chen. He leapt to the front of Qingbai and the others. When he saw the appearance of Zhao Lingxian and the other 9 women, a naughty smile flashed across his face. Humph. Still want to escape? Do you think you can escape from me? Gu Li's lecherous gaze swept across the women, causing them to feel disgusted. Qingbai had already clapped her hands and left. She did not forget to shout at Zhao Lingxian and the other 9 women. Hurry up and leave, otherwise, you really won't be able to leave. Chapter 1486. Rumble. An earth-shattering explosion rang out. Qingbai's slender body was sent flying like a kite with a broken string. Gu Li didn't care about Qingbai's realm and walked towards the 9 women with a smile. You're the women with the surname Qiao? Just like the rumors, all of you are beautiful fairies. Qiao Feng is too scared to show his face and abandoned you. What's the use of a man like him? Why don't you follow me in the future? I promise I'll let you have fun every night. Shameless scoundrel. Watch my sword. The 9 women were enraged by these insulting words. Su Ruo had already thrust her sword forward. However, Gu Li didn't care at all. He stood where he was, and the playful expression on his face became more and more intense. Seeing that the sword was about to pierce through his throat, Gu Li slowly raised his hand and prepared to pull Su Ruo into his embrace. However, his movements and the smile on his face suddenly froze. He stood there like a stone statue. Rumble. A loud explosion suddenly rang out from Gu Li's body. The bloody scene stunned the women. Even the people who were fighting fiercely at the side stopped and looked at the situation in disbelief. That was 3-Star Mountain sect leader Gu Li, a venerable who had stepped into Stage 9 True Qi Stage 9. How could he suddenly explode? The intense battle came to a temporary halt, and everyone's expression turned grave. Everyone felt a strange and powerful aura ripple in the surroundings. That aura was different from the others. It gave people a strong pressure and made them want to submit. When the crowd regained their senses, someone suddenly shouted, "Who are you? You dare to oppose 3 venerables?" Everyone looked towards where Zhao Lingxian and the other women were. A white-clothed young man was standing with his hands behind his back. The youth's long hair fluttered in the wind. He was delicate and handsome. His figure was slender and slightly thin, but he gave off a heavy feeling like a mountain. When Su Ruo and the 9 women saw the youth, their eyes lit up. At this moment, a few exclamations came from the crowd. He's Qin Feng? That Xing really came to the divine great land. He's really reckless. Sect leader, he's the #1 person in China's secular world, Qin Feng. He's now wanted by all the holy sects in the divine great land. Among the crowd, there were many disciples who came out of seclusion a while ago. At this moment, they all recognized Qin Feng. It turned out that after Qin Feng broke through to the first stage of immortal qi, he returned to his original appearance. Today, he was invincible in the divine great land. He didn't need to conceal his identity anymore. For a moment, the crowd was in an uproar. No one expected Qin Feng to be hiding in the Celestial Souls sect. The 9 women had already surrounded him, and Su Ruo threw herself into his embrace. She had almost been bullied by Gu Li just then, and now she felt wronged. Seeing this, the crowd was confused. Weren't these 9 women Xiao Feng's women? Why was he entangled with Qin Feng? When they mentioned Qin Feng and Xiao Feng, many people came to a sudden understanding. These 2 people were most probably the same person. Stinky Apricot, so you changed your identity and hid in the divine great land. But now that you've offended 3 true venerables in the end, you still have to die. The Bailey sect elder, Long Qing, and the Twin Peaks elder, Wei Zheng, regained their senses. They stood on the empty ground 10 meters away and glared at Qin Feng furiously. Previously, the 2 of them had attacked Qin Feng at night after the Fire Beacon City Science and Technology exhibition. That night, they lost many elite disciples, but they still remembered him. Very quickly, the elders and sect leaders of the Poison Sect, the Blazing Sun Sect, the Mysterious Ice Sect, the Heavenly Cloud Sword Sect, and the other sects also jumped out. These sects had been suppressed by Qin Feng recently. Now that they had the sect leaders of the Divine Great Lands, 3 true venerables backing them up, they didn't care about Qin Feng at all. Facing the attack of a group of powerful venerables, Qin Feng's expression was indifferent as usual. He raised his hand and drew a sword mark on the ground. The mark was as thick as a thigh and extended for hundreds of meters. The empty ground between the 2 parties was like the dividing line of the Chu River. Today I, Qin Feng, will stand guard here. Anyone who dares to cross this line will die. Qin Feng's cold and indifferent voice rang out, as if he was talking about something new and unremarkable. These arrogant and domineering words stunned everyone present. The hearts of Su Ruo and the 9 women were beating wildly. When the disciples of the Celestial Souls sect and the Thousand Shadows sect regained their senses, they immediately retreated to the side of the dividing line that Qin Feng had drawn. They glared at the enemy from afar. The atmosphere was deadlocked for a moment. Long Qing of the Bailey sect and the 2 elders of the Twin Peaks, Wei Zheng, flew over. They had fought with Qin Feng before. This apricot Xing was only at the 7th stage of vital energy. How could they be afraid of him? Stupid apricot, today is the day you die. Just as he roared, 2 loud explosions suddenly rang out in the sky. Qin Feng casually raised his hand, and 2 balls of fire flashed. Long Qing and Wei Zheng's bodies had just arrived above the dividing line when they exploded into pieces of flesh and blood. The strong smell of blood spread out, and the playful expressions on the faces of the group of disciples suddenly froze. Long Qing and Wei Zheng, one of whom was at the 7th stage of vital energy and the other a powerful venerable at the 8th stage of vital energy, had been killed so easily. Everyone suddenly remembered Xiao Feng's story. This person had killed Taoist Feng with his own strength not long ago. When they heard this news, many disciples were skeptical. Now that they had personally witnessed his power, they began to believe it. At this point, the disciples below the 9th stage of vital energy no longer dared to take even half a step forward. The few sect leaders of the large sects were somewhat fearful. However, when they thought of the 3 sect leaders supporting them, everyone felt a little more confident. Qin, this time, 3 true venerated sect leaders have personally led a team to eradicate your Celestial Souls sect. I advise you to obediently surrender. Otherwise, we will not be courteous. The Bailey sect leader, Long Ao, glared at Qin Feng and shouted angrily. Qin Feng had killed the great elder, Long Qing, right in front of him. Ha, so what if there are 3 mere true venerated people? No matter who crosses this line today, they will die. Qin Feng sneered. He was now a celestial venerable who had stepped into the celestial Qi realm. Why would he care about ants in the vital energy realm? However, everyone did not know. They felt that Qin Feng was too arrogant. He was so young that he did not understand that there was always someone better out there. Even Su Ruo and the other girls, as well as Qing Chun and the others, were somewhat worried. Qin Feng's words had completely offended the 3 true venerated sect leaders. he was seeking his own death. Indeed, he is young and ignorant. Sect leaders of the various sects are powerful. Let us join forces and destroy Xing's prestige. The Bailey sect leader Long Ao roared angrily. Instantly, dozens of people jumped out from the crowd. These people all had powerful backgrounds. They were all powerful, venerated people who had stepped into the 9th stage of vital energy realm. Usually, any one of them could scare an ordinary disciple of a sacred sect to death. The Twin Peaks sect leader, Wei Bing, the Poison sect leader, Meng Gui, the Soul Knife sect leader, Qian Hun, and the Life and Death sect leader, Yan Cuxing. Just by looking at this lineup, the disciples of the Thousand Shadows sect and the Celestial Souls sect were scared half to death. Haha, Qin Xing, let's see how you survive today. With so many powerful sect leaders suddenly appearing beside him, the Bailey sect leader, Long Ao, was instantly filled with confidence. With a wild roar, he took the lead and attacked. However, his figure had just reached midair when it suddenly bloomed like fireworks. Rumble. The loud sound was still reverberating. The dozen or so powerful venerated people who were about to follow suddenly froze on the spot. The group of sacred sect disciples was even more shocked and blinded. No one had seen clearly what had happened, but yet another powerful venerated person in the intermediate stage of vital energy realm had fallen. In the divine land, when did powerful venerated people at the 9th stage of vital energy realm become so useless? This Xing has also stepped into the true 9 realm. Everyone, don't fight him alone. Let's attack together. I don't believe that he can withstand it. After a brief moment of shock, the Twin Peaks sect leader, Wei Bing, suddenly spoke. In an instant, the dozen or so true 9 realm powerful venerated people immediately spread out, forming a semicircle around Qin Feng. They leaped into the air at the same time, as if a dozen or so stars were rising into the sky. They had just leaped into the air when their subordinates unleashed a ferocious attack. Rumble. Suddenly, the loud sound in the sky was like thunder. Just the momentum alone was enough to make the crowd tremble in fear. Qin Feng spread his arms, and a wave of aura emanated from his body, causing all the women and disciples to retreat dozens of meters. Zhang Qingxin was the only one left. Everyone was so anxious that they screamed. Qin Feng's face was indifferent. The moment he raised his head to look at the sky, 2 beams of fire exploded in the sky, instantly blowing up 2 powerful, venerated people. He casually slapped his palm again, and a ball of fire shot out like a sharp blade. It was as if the moment he raised his hand, the Twin Peaks sect leader, Wei Bing, had exploded and died. Only then did the attacks of the group of powerful venerated people land. Qin Feng nimbly took a step back, and as he slapped his palm, the weather changed dramatically. A violent snowstorm blew in front of him, as if the sky was frozen and cracked. The originally fierce battle suddenly calmed down. Everyone's attacks were frozen in the ice, and not a single sound could be heard. Qin Feng slapped his palm again. Now that he had stepped into the divine Qi realm, a simple fire blade was enough to kill these true 9 realm powerful venerated people. Rumble. There was a loud explosion, and the Life and Death sect leader, Yan Cuxing, was turned into flesh and blood. Qin Feng raised his palm again, and the Soul Blade sect leader, Qian Hun, fell. The loud sound in the sky reverberated again. Qin Feng stood on the ground like a god of war. With a wave of his hand, a true 9 realm powerful venerated person was destroyed. Such a powerful skill had already shocked everyone.
Bang, bang, bang.
The explosions did not stop. Every sound represented the death of a powerful venerated person. In just a few minutes, the dozen or so sect leaders had already been turned into flesh and blood, splattering all over the ground. From now on, China had lost their legend. Li Bai wrote in Chivalrous Journey, 10 steps to kill a person, 1,000 miles unstoppable. Now that Qin Feng had killed a venerated person with a palm, it completely shocked China. There was still a loud explosion in the sky, but there was no one in the sky. The group of Sacred Gate disciples stood on the other side of the border, their hearts filled with fear and panic. If their legs still had a trace of strength, they would have turned around and run. The sudden change in the battle was beyond everyone's expectations. Qin Feng had killed more than a dozen true Nine-Realm powerful venerated people, but he stood on the ground as if nothing had happened. His cold voice came from the sky. "You are too weak. Don't come here to die. Where are the stupid 3 venerated masters of China? Hurry up and kowtow to admit your mistakes. Remember the website." Chapter 1487. There was no pop-up window for free reading. Make the 3 sect masters kowtow and admit their mistakes? Qin Feng was probably the only person in the entire China who dared to say such a thing. After witnessing Qin Feng's powerful skills, no one dared to doubt his words. After witnessing Qin Feng's powerful skills, no one dared to doubt his arrogant words. Everyone even began to speculate whether the 3 masters of China could really defeat Qin Feng if they joined forces. After Qin Feng's shout, the peak of Celestial Souls sect suddenly fell into a dead silence. The hundreds of Sacred Sect disciples on the enemy's side were so frightened that they did not dare to make a sound. The disciples of Celestial Souls sect and Thousand Shadows sect had not completely recovered from the shock.
Swoosh.
A sudden gust of wind broke the deathly silence. Before everyone could react, 3 figures landed in front of Qin Feng. The 3 of them were old, and their white hair fluttered in the wind. However, when they flew over, they were extremely fast. Their old eyes shone brightly, and their vitality was several times stronger than that of the youth. One of the old men with long hair coiled on top of his head said coldly, "Brat, you're too arrogant." Qin Feng guessed that they were the sect masters of China's 3 supreme sects even without their introduction. The one who shouted was the sect master of Celestial Dragon sect, Bai Feng. The white-robed old man was Su Sun from the Empyrean Terminus sect, and the strange man in a black robe and black hat was Hun Zhen from Gui Luo sect. Only then did the crowd realize that the 3 sect masters had appeared. For a moment, there was a lot of discussion. However, Qin Feng did not care about the voices. His gaze swept across the 3 of them. The auras of the 3 of them were slightly stronger than Taoist fangs, but that was all. In Qin Feng's eyes, they were completely vulnerable. Since you dare to show yourselves, then kowtow and admit your mistakes. From now on, submit to Celestial Souls sect, and I will spare your lives. Qin Feng stood with his hands behind his back and said in a matter-of-fact tone. Everyone was stunned and looked at him in disbelief. No matter how powerful this person was, he could not be so arrogant, right? The 3 of them were furious. They had been famous in China for a long time, and it had been decades since anyone dared to act so fiercely in front of them. Now, they were threatened by a youth in his early 20s in front of more than half of China's disciples. However, the 3 of them did not make a move. They had been secretly watching the entire process of Qin Feng killing the group of powerful cultivators. The 3 of them were shocked. Even they couldn't guarantee that they could be as powerful as Qin Feng. Little brat with the surname Qin, you're originally from the secular world of China. Why did you come to the divine great land to stir up trouble? Hun Zhen from the Gui Luo realm asked coldly. I came here to find someone, but you guys have been working together to kill me. If I don't fight back, should I just wait for death? Qin Feng was full of confidence. The 3 of them were speechless because they were the ones who had issued the arrest warrant. Since this is a misunderstanding, you'd better leave this place. Otherwise, don't blame us for being impolite. Su Sun of the Empyrean Terminus sect said. The crowd was shaken. They could already tell that these 3 true sovereign sect leaders feared Qin Feng and wanted to make peace with him. Qin Feng laughed coldly. Don't you think it's too late to say this now? My patience is limited. If you want to live, then kowtow and admit your mistakes. Otherwise, I might change my mind. The 3 true sovereigns of the divine great land took the initiative to ask for peace, but Qin Feng didn't give in. This completely subverted the crowd's understanding. They didn't know where Qin Feng got his confidence from. Qing Chen and Qing Bai were already jumping up and down anxiously. They wanted to go up and persuade Qin Feng, but under such a powerful force, they couldn't even say a word. The three true sovereigns' eyes shone coldly. Obviously, they had lost their patience with Qin Feng. The sect leader of the Blue Dragon sect, Bai Kuang, suddenly flew over and struck out with his palm. Arrogant brat, today, I'll let you know my power. That palm strike caused a gust of wind to blow. A huge palm print seemed to fall from the sky. Violent true qi swept across the ground, making it hard for the crowd to breathe. Although the palm wind hadn't hit the ground, everyone was already stunned. They usually didn't have the opportunity to see a peak true 9 powerhouse in action. Today, it was an eye-opener. In the center of the surging palm wind, Qin Feng stood with his hands behind his back. He raised his head and looked at the palm flying towards him, as if it didn't exist. He shook his head and sighed. Sigh. I originally wanted to leave a few more peak true 9 powerhouses in the divine Great Land to continue the prosperity of the martial Dao here. In this case, it seems that there's no need. As soon as he finished speaking, 2 balls of fire shot out from his eyes. Ever since he broke through to the immortal Qi realm, Qin Feng completely unleashed the power of the purple cloud immortal fire. The 2 balls of fire rose into the sky like a long dragon and instantly enveloped Bai Kuang. As for the huge palm print falling from the sky, it had long been burned into nothingness by the fire. Rumble. The sea of fire in the sky kept exploding, looking like it was going to burn the sky. Everyone looked at the sea of fire dumbfounded, thinking that true venerate Bai Kuang was still in the fire. Would he be able to survive such a violent explosion? Everyone's guess was quickly answered. The purple fire in the sky suddenly disappeared as if it had never appeared. However, there was not a single figure in the clear sky. That Bai Kuang had probably been burned to ashes. The peak of the spiritual immortal sect fell silent again. Those disciples didn't even dare to breathe loudly. Han Zhen and Su Sun stood rooted to the ground. Their eyes were filled with horror and fear. They were frightened by Qin Feng's power. A purple cloud immortal fire had killed his supremacy at the peak of stage 9. Qin Feng didn't even bother to look at the sky, as if he had done something insignificant. His cold voice sounded again. What are the 2 of you still standing there for? Are you going to submit or be destroyed? Qin Feng had asked this question not long ago, but everyone felt that he was too arrogant. Now that he said the same thing, no one dared to doubt him. At this moment, the 2 sect leaders who stood at the peak of the divine Great Land were dumbstruck like wooden chickens, like helpless children. They had long realized that Qin Feng was very powerful, but they realized that they had still underestimated his strength. A moment later, Han Zhen suddenly walked in front of Qin Feng and knelt on the ground. The moment he knelt, the crowd couldn't help but scream. Young hero Qin, it was the returning Net Realm's fault previously. I hope that young hero Qin can forgive us this time. Han Zhen began to admit defeat. This scene shocked Su Sun of the Empyrean Terminus sect. Qin Feng's expression was still indifferent, as if this was a matter of course. He looked up at Su Sun and waited for his decision. However, at this moment, Han Zhen leaped up. There was a flying sword hidden in his sleeve, and it stabbed towards Qin Feng's chest at lightning speed. A mere ant from the outside world wants to subdue me? Go to hell. It turned out that Han Zhen had pretended to submit. When he saw that Qin Feng had lost his guard, he suddenly made this move. The 2 of them were less than a meter away from each other. The flying sword disappeared in a flash. A playful smile appeared on Han Zhen's face, as if he could already see Qin Feng's tragic fate of being killed on the spot. Chapter 1488. Han Zhen was so excited that he wanted to shout. He knew that he was no match for Qin Feng, but he felt that Qin Feng was still too young and did not understand the craftiness of Zheng Hu. However, his smile suddenly froze on his face. Even his flying body froze in midair. The flying ship did not pierce through Qin Feng's body. Qin Feng casually sidestepped it and dodged it. However, a pink light shot out and pierced through Han Zhen's heart.
Boom.
A loud noise exploded in midair and Hunjun exploded like fireworks. The pink light flashed and Qinfen reached out and grabbed the cosmic flying sword in his hand. He seemed to be talking to himself. Do you think you're the only one with a flying sword? You're asking for it. It was as though he had easily killed 2 Supremes at the peak of Stage 9 with just a wave of his hand. At this point, no one dared to doubt his strength. Young hero Qin, I admit my mistake. I kowtow and apologize to you. Empyrean Terminus sect leader Su Sun was already kneeling on the ground. Qinfen said coldly, "Don't tell me you're thinking of assassinating me too." Su Sun trembled in fear. He had thought of finding a chance to sneak an attack on Qinfen. However, with Hunjun as an example, he did not dare to have such thoughts anymore. Su Sun had completely woken up. Qinfen was able to easily kill 2 Supremes at the peak of Stage 9. This was a sign that he had stepped into the immortal Qi realm. When he thought about how Qinfen was a legendary immortal at such a young age, Su Sun wanted nothing more than to acknowledge him as his master. Qinfen knew that Su Sun was truly afraid when he saw his terrified expression. He looked at the disciples gathered at the top of the mountain. Wherever his gaze landed, the disciples immediately knelt and kowtowed. Young hero Qin, please spare our lives. We kowtow and apologize to young hero Qin. In an instant, the hundreds of Supremes gathered at the top of Celestial Souls sect knelt and kowtowed. The spectacular scene stunned everyone from Celestial Souls sect and Thousand Shadows sect. Qinfeng stood at the front of the crowd with a calm and composed expression. Ever since he stepped into the immortal Qi realm, his mindset had changed. When he looked at the Supremes at the true energy realm, they were like a group of ants. Qinfen didn't kill Su Sun. He still wanted to keep this guy alive to ask him about the immortal venerable plane. But at this moment, a playful laughter came from the distant sky. Haha, I haven't seen you for a few days, but you are getting more and more powerful. The crowd was stunned. They couldn't figure out who would dare to challenge Qinfeng's dignity at this time. Before everyone could react, a white figure had already landed on the edge of the cliff. The person who came was dressed in a white robe, and his long hair fluttered in the wind. His body exuded an otherworldly aura, which was completely different from the auras of those true Qi venerables. Everyone was at a loss when they saw the newcomer. Clearly, no one could recognize him. Qinfen's calm expression turned serious. It was Ling Jiutian. As expected, you deliberately lost to me in the battle at Devil Beast Mountain. Qinfen could see the aura on Ling Jiutian at a glance, and it was no longer the effect of true Qi. Ling Jiutian ignored the hundreds of doubtful gazes and stared at Qinfeng with a smile. You're not stupid after all. I didn't nurture you for nothing. Your progress has surprised me and made me jealous. I can't let you continue to develop. Now it's time to harvest the fruits of your labor. No one could understand Ling Jiutian's words, and some even suspected that there was something wrong with his brain. Qinfen could easily kill a true Qi Stage 9 pinnacle true Qi venerables, and this person dared to say such arrogant words about harvesting Qinfen. Qinfen's heart was extremely heavy. He realized that he couldn't see through Ling Jiutian's realm. This person must have stepped into the immortal realm, and his realm could not be lower than his. What are you planning in the dark? Qinfen asked coldly. Ling Jiutian smiled lightly, as if he didn't take Qinfen seriously. It's not convenient to talk here. Come with me, I promise you won't be disappointed. As soon as he finished speaking, he seemed to disappear into thin air. The crowd exclaimed. Everyone finally realized how powerful Ling Jiutian was. When they came back to their senses, they found that Qinfen had also disappeared. The two of them were flying in the sky. Qinfen was riding the golden tornado wheel, and Ling Jiutian was riding a golden flying sword. Their speed was no slower than the golden tornado wheel. In just a few minutes, the two of them came to an open field far away from Celestial Soul's gate. Ling Jiutian had already landed, and Qinfen followed closely behind. Can you tell me now? Qinfen was dozens of meters away from him, constantly on guard against his every move. Ling Jiutian smiled playfully. You look like you're afraid of me. Am I that scary? You want to know why I keep watching you? Don't think too much. I'm not just watching you. I'm watching everyone who has a system. Qin Fin knew that Ling Jiutian also had a system, but he didn't know what system he was. You're looking for system owners, and then let them develop on their own. When the time is right, you'll devour their system to strengthen yourself. Qin Fin already had some understanding. Ling Jiutian looked at him with admiration. Qin Fin, you're indeed smart and powerful. You're the most outstanding system owner I've observed, second to none. Qin Fin ignored Ling Jiutian's praise and said coldly, then who exactly are you? What do you have to do with the Astral Sect, one of the Hidden Five Forces, and the Spirit Beast Sect of the Divine Land? Qin Fin had faced many opponents along the way, but Ling Jiutian was the only one he couldn't figure out. Ling Jiutian smiled and said, I created the Astral Sect and the Spirit Beast Sect, but to the outside world, I'm just the astral puppet of those two sections. For example, you established the Celestial Soul Sect, but others think you're just an ordinary disciple of the Celestial Soul Sect. These two sects help me collect information about the system owners in the outside world and in the Divine Land. If necessary, I can suppress them so that they can develop quickly. By the way, I also established the Martial Art Alliance for the same purpose. Ling Jiutian began to confess many things, which made Qin Fin even more nervous. He felt a strong sense of danger. What else do you want to know before you die? Ask away, I'll tell you everything. Ling Jiutian said with a smile, as if Qin Fin was already a meal on his plate. What system do you have? Who are the big shots behind you? What is the secret of the system? Qin Fin's expression was solemn. These 3 questions of yours are really deep. I can only answer your first question. I have the King of Ambition system. As for the other 2 questions, you can ask Yama when you go to hell. Qin Fin realized that Ling Jiutian was about to make a move. He quickly said, King of Ambition system? You don't have the Sovereign Series system? Ling Jiutian smiled and said, I might as well tell you. There are 2 types of systems in the modern world. One is the Sovereign Series and the other is the King Series. These 2 systems are opposites and are destined to devour each other. I know that the hedonist sovereign system you have is the strongest system in the Sovereign Series. After devouring you, I will become extremely powerful. Ling Jiutian looked excited, like a hunter who had seen his prey. Qin Fin was amazed. So there was a King Series system. However, at this moment, a gust of wind suddenly blew. Ling Jiutian's patience had run out, and he suddenly disappeared from the open space. Qin Fin immediately became very vigilant. The moment he looked up, a golden saber aura slashed down.
Boom.
The golden light landed on the ground and exploded a crack that was hundreds of meters long. Qin Fin stepped on the golden phoenix and flew into the sky. He casually slashed his saber down in the distance. Ling Jiutian was hovering in the air, holding a 3-meter-long golden rock slash in his hand. Facing Qin Fin's long saber, he had a playful look on his face. He casually raised his saber and dissipated the saber aura in the air.
Boom.
A loud sound exploded in the sky. It was as if the sky had been blasted open. Ling Jiutian raised his hand, and the golden rock slash in his hand disappeared. Qin Fin, you and I both have systems. This kind of martial arts battle is really boring. We can't compete with the strength of the system. As soon as he finished speaking, without waiting for Qin Fin's reply, a loud sound suddenly came from around him, and several black figures fell from the sky. 10 figures landed on the ground. They were dressed differently, all in ancient styles. As soon as these people jumped out, Pig Xiu's anxious voice sounded, Master, these 10 people are the 10 great heroes of the ancient times. They are all very powerful. Master, be careful. Qin Fin understood. His hedonist sovereign system had the Hall of Heroes. Ling Jiutian's system probably also had a similar hero interface, and his heroes were all famous heroes in history. The 10 people had strong auras and looked at Qin Fin in the air. Qin Fin was not afraid. He flew over on the golden wheel and slashed down in the air. Rumble. The 100-meter-long saber aura suddenly exploded, and the 10 people turned into black shadows and dissipated. In the blink of an eye, 3 of them came around Qin Fen and launched different attacks. Violent true qi surged in the surroundings. The 10 people's realms were not bad. They were all above true qi stage 6, and a few had even stepped into the true 9 realm. But now that Qin Fen had stepped into the immortal qi stage, true qi stage opponents were not worth mentioning. Rumble. With a slap of his hand, the 3 heroes were reduced to ashes in the sea of fire. The smile on Ling Jiutian's face froze, and he shouted coldly, "Qin, I say, competition system, if you fight me again, I can kill you in a second." Qin Fen retreated dozens of meters away. He could not figure out Ling Jiutian, so he did not want to fight him head-on for the time being. Ling Jiutian's suggestion also piqued Qin Fen's interest. He really wanted to see how powerful the King of Heroes system was. Rumble. A loud sound exploded on Qin Fen's body. Suddenly, Golden for a Lion King, the other heroes, and the few dire beasts appeared out of thin air. There were also 6 black mist spreading on the ground. It was Qin Fen activating the 5 Kings' Golden Ghost Talisman. Roar, roar. The 4 dire beasts roared and pounced. They were all demonic beasts comparable to the true 9 realm, and their roars alone were earth-shattering. Golden Fur Lion King and Duan Yu had stepped into the stage 8 true qi stage, so they became support in the battle, attacking from behind the dire beasts. Qin Fen and Ling Jiutian stood on one side, watching the huge battle of the Che system. When Ling Jiutian's gaze fell on the blood-fiend brown bear, his eyes flashed, and no one knew what he was thinking. Remember the website. Sandwich Chinese Network. Chapter 1489. The 4 ferocious beasts were so ferocious that they killed 2 heroes as soon as they charged forward. One of the opposing heroes shouted, "Don't fight the beasts head-on. Kill those 2 men first." In an instant, the remaining 5 heroes charged towards Golden for Lion King and Duan Yu. The 5 of them launched an attack in the air with an earth-shattering momentum. Qin Fen watched anxiously from the side. The 5 heroes all had powerful auras, and the leading man was at the peak of true qi level 9. Golden for Lion King and Duan Yu were beaten back. In just a few minutes, the 2 were already seriously injured.
Boom.
A loud sound exploded on the ground. The leading hero suddenly had 8 swords surrounding him. The 8 swords flew out at the same time, almost blasting Duan Yu and Golden for Lion King to pieces. The 2 were knocked to the ground by the aftershock of the sword qi. Seeing the 8 flying swords shooting over again, Qin Fen hurriedly recalled them back into the system. 6 streaks of black mist filled the air, but the 5 kings of the Verdant sect were too weak and were instantly pierced through by the sword qi. The battle had only just begun. The number of people on Qin Feng's side continued to decrease, leaving only 4 ferocious beasts roaring on the ground. Ling Jiutian's expression became more playful as he laughed. "Haha, you've only had the system for 2 years, and you've only come up with these despicable things." Qin Fen was furious. How could the heroes he had be despicable? Golden for Lion King and Duan Yu were both experts at true qi level 8. They were extremely powerful in both China and the secular world. However, facing Ling Jiutian's King of Ambition system, Qin Fen felt a little heavy. This person's system level had clearly surpassed his. Roar, roar. The battle on the ground continued. The 4 ferocious beasts madly charged towards the crowd. The 5 heroes formed a unique formation with the man surrounded by flying swords as the leader. Swish! The man waved his hand, and the swords around him shot out. Each sword was extremely sharp, and when they struck the ferocious beasts, there was a loud sound like a train colliding. The 4 ferocious beasts were beaten into a mess. They chased one person at a time, and then another, but none of them were hurt. Qin Fen was filled with anxiety as he communicated with Xiao Zhu. "What hero is the other side?" Xiao Zhu said, "The one leading should be the King of Yu, Gojian. The 8 swords around him are the 8 swords of the King of Yu. As for the other 4, judging from their appearances, they are also formidable figures in the history of Huaxia." Qin Fen figured out the situation of these people. It seemed that Ling Jiutian's King and Ambition system had created them based on historical figures. Of the 5, Yu Qinggo Jian was the strongest, having already stepped into the peak of true 9. And the 8 flying swords around him were even more powerful, beating the 4 beasts to the point where they couldn't even hide.
Whoosh!
The sword flew up once more, and King Yu chanted, 8 swords. One of them is called Dark Sunday. Using it to point at the sun, the light will dim. The flying sword shot into the sky, and suddenly, dark clouds covered the sun, blocking out the sun's radiance. Following that, another sword flew out. The second name is Water Severing. Using it as a paddle, it won't work. The sword shot straight at the gigantic winged fire demon. As the sword fell, a crack appeared on the fire demon's hard fur.
Whoosh!
King Yu unleashed his third strike, 3 soul reversing, using the moon-toed rabbit to reverse it. The sword gleam was cold, and the poisonous scorpion king's scream could be heard. The poisonous stinger on its tail was easily cut off. Another flying sword rose into the sky. 4 hanging swords. Birds swam past. Touch their blades, and it will be cut. The sword shot straight at the 2-headed Wolfman King, splitting open a vacuum in the snowstorm and piercing the Wolfman King's thick arm. The 5th sword flew out, 5 awakening salamanders. Using it as a sea, the whale's salamander goes deep. The flying sword pierced straight into the blood fiend brown bear's right leg and actually pierced through its sturdy body, causing the blood fiend brown bear to roar madly. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In the blink of an eye, King Yu sent out the remaining 3 embers. The awakening sword, soul destroyer sword, and true steel sword whistled through the sky like 3 heavenly swords descending from the sky. Rumble. Suddenly, the weather changed, and an earth-shattering explosion blasted the plains into a mess. In such a ferocious explosion, the 4 beasts would probably be smashed to pieces. But when the dust settled, the 4 beasts were nowhere to be seen. Haha, admitting defeat so quickly? Did you recall the heroes and beasts back into the system? Ling Jiutian's laughter could be heard. Qin Feng's eyes flickered with flames. With a thought, a loud roar of engines could be heard in the sky. 5 fighter jets whizzed past, and dozens of cannonballs fell from the sky. Rumble. The explosion of the cannonballs was even more ferocious than King Yu's 8 flying swords. The 5 heroes were stunned on the spot. Before they could regain their senses, 2 of them were blown to pieces. The other 3 hurriedly fled. The 5 fighter jets were all flying Tiger fighter jets in the Sovereign Modification System. The tracking cannonballs were following behind the 3 of them. Seeing that the cannonballs were about to explode, King Yu suddenly stopped and roared. The 8 flying swords around him shot into the sky. Rumble. Dozens of cannonballs exploded in an instant. The flying swords were enveloped in flames and had long since exploded into pieces. Qin Feng was stunned. Isn't this King Yu's 8 swords too lousy? Xiao Zhu explained, Master, that's not the real King Yu's 8 swords. It's just a replica created by the King Ambition system. Seeing the 8 treasured swords being destroyed, King Yu roared angrily. He stopped running and leaped towards the flying tiger mech that was coming towards him from midair. King Yu slapped out with his hands and numerous palm prints rose into the sky. He was, after all, an expert at the pinnacle of true Qi level 9. When his attack landed on the flying tiger fighter jets, one of them was destroyed. The other 2 heroes also started to counterattack. The combined attack of the 3 was astonishing. The flying tiger fighter jets seemed to be of a lower grade. The cannonball attacks were unable to destroy the 3 of them. Rumble. Another roar of engines could be heard from the sky. Qin Feng released a White Eagle mech and a White Phoenix mech with a slight shift in his thoughts. Compared to Star Technology's A-grade flying Tiger fighter jet, the White Eagle and White Phoenix fighter jets were S-grade fighter jets. And the White Phoenix fighter jet had reached the pinnacle of S-grade. When the 2 fighter jets fired their cannonballs in pursuit, the 3 heroes did not realize the danger. They thought that the 2 fighter jets were the same as the flying Tiger fighter jets. They even took the initiative to meet them head-on, attempting to destroy the fighter jets one after another. For cannonballs fell like meteors. Their speed was double that of the flying tiger fighter jets. Before the two heroes could regain their senses, they had already been turned into ashes in the violent explosion. The loud noise had not subsided. Out of the 10 heroes, only King Yu was left. King Yu realized the power of these two fighter jets. Especially that White Phoenix fighter jet, it gave him a sense of death. Seeing the new cannonball explode on the ground around King Yu, he could not see his figure in the dust. Qin Feng realized that Ling Jiutian had recalled King Yu back into the system. This allowed him to finally vent his anger. Are you going to admit defeat? Qin Feng said coldly. Ling Jiutian's usual playful expression suddenly turned cold. He could not hide the anger in his eyes. You're thinking too much. This is just the beginning. Just as he finished speaking, two mechas suddenly landed behind him. Qin Feng was not unfamiliar with this type of mecha. Back when he was fighting with the supreme mecha system in the outside world near Neil's nest in South Africa, young Master Huo was wearing a black dragon mecha. Rumble. The moment the two mecha appeared, they immediately flew into the sky and launched a fierce attack. In an instant, laser bullets and tracking missiles filled the sky, chasing after the two mecha. The White Eagle mecha and White Phoenix mecha had both activated automatic combat mode. When they realized that the enemy was stronger, they would switch from offense to defense. Qin, what other trump cards do you have? Show them. I'm very disappointed in your ability now. Seeing that he had gained the upper hand again, Ling Jiutian was proud once again. Qin Feng's expression was solemn. He realized that the two mecha were a level higher than the White Feather mecha and the Black Dragon mecha. In a fit of anger, Qin Feng's thoughts were activated consecutively. In an instant, the surroundings were filled with loud noises. Rumble. On the vast plains, a mighty tank and a chariot suddenly appeared. In the sky, there were two more mecha, one black and one white. Qin Feng took out all the Black Dragon series equipment. At the same time, he released the White Feather mecha and the Black Dragon mecha. This lineup was extremely strong. This was the first time Qin Feng had taken out so many trump cards. The Black Dragon tank's turret was already aimed at the sky, firing continuously. The anti-aircraft cannon on the top of the Black Dragon tank was ready. Every shot was like a muffled thunder. The sky seemed to be on the verge of exploding. Such ferocious artillery fire struck fear into the hearts of people. The two mechas that Ling Jiutian took out were outnumbered. They were quickly shot down and turned into a pile of debris. Anger rose on his face again. His patience was completely exhausted. Qin, I can't be bothered to play with you anymore. You should just die. Rumble. A golden blade light descended from the sky. Ling Jiutian said that he wanted to compete with the system's strength, but now he said that he was going to attack. Qin Feng flashed away on his golden wheel. The ground he was standing on collapsed, forming a huge crater. As soon as he arrived in the sky, Qin Feng slashed out with his blade. Golden light shot out around him. Ling Jiutian did not dodge. He held the golden rock slash and stepped on the golden flying sword. He casually slashed out and blocked Qin Feng's blade light in midair. The battle between two immortal Qi realm cultivators was so intense that it seemed like the sky was going to collapse. The people in the Spirit Immortal sect had not left yet. Everyone looked at the flashing and exploding sky in the distance. Their hearts were in turmoil. Sisters, what should we do now? The girls were anxious. They wanted nothing more than to fight with Qin Feng. However, everyone knew Ling Jiutian's identity. He was Qin Feng's greatest opponent. Even Qin Feng might not be able to defeat Ling Jiutian. They would only be a burden if they went. Don't worry, everyone. Young hero Qin can even kill a cultivator at the peak of Qi Realm Stage 9. I believe that person is not young hero Qin's match. Qing Chun was also very anxious, but she could only say words to comfort everyone and herself. The Empyrean Terminus sect leader, Su Sun, was stunned. He looked at the distant sky with mixed feelings. He had thought that he was already standing at the peak of martial arts in the Divine Continent. Only now did he realize how insignificant he was. Please allow old Dew to take a day off for the Dragon Boat Festival. I will stop writing tomorrow. I wish everyone a happy Dragon Boat Festival. Remember the website. Sandwich Chinese Network. Chapter 1490. After the battle, Qin Fin figured out Ling Jiutian's cultivation level. He was a Tier 3 Immortal Qi Venerable, the same level as Zhang Bing from Tai Sect, whom he met on Immortal Island. Qin Fin had just stepped into the first stage of Immortal Qi, so he was no match for Ling Jiutian. Brat, you really exceeded my expectations. You've actually stepped into the Immortal Qi realm. Looks like you've been to that place. Ling Jiutian had also figured out Qin Fin's realm. What place are you talking about? Qin Feng asked in a low voice. Ling Jiutian stood less than 10 meters away from him, a look of contempt on his face. You're going to die anyway. What's there to hide? Since you're able to step into the Immortal Qi state, you've naturally been to the Immortal Island. That crimson-brown bear of yours is also a fiend beast of the Immortal Island. Qin Fin had always wondered if the immortal venerable plane that people in the land of gods were talking about was the Immortal Island. Now that he heard Ling Jiutian mention it, he felt that this was most likely the case. Because of this, Qin Fin had many questions in his heart. Regarding the origin of the system, the Immortal Island, the secret behind Ling Jiutian, and so on. But before he could think any further, a violent wave of immortal qi surged towards him. Ling Jiutian appeared in front of him in a single leap. The seemingly light palm sent Qin Feng flying to the ground. Rumble. The movement caused by that palm was not small. It was as if he had smashed a small mountain. Qin Feng coughed up a few mouthfuls of blood the moment he fell to the ground. Golden light radiated from his body. Under Ling Jiutian's palm strike, the paragon skill Art of Vajra was activated. Ling Jiutian was taken aback. He probably did not expect Qin Fin to survive that palm strike. He stared at the golden light on Qin Fin's body. The golden light was changing. The original golden light was turning silver at a speed visible to the naked eye. Qin Feng's body seemed to become transparent, and the blood flowing through his veins became pure silver. Master, the Vajra esoteric technique has leveled up. It has now broken through to the second level. Master has a silver blood true body. Little Pig's voice rang out. Although the Vajra esoteric technique had leveled up, Little Pig couldn't feel any joy from it. Qin Feng's expression was solemn. The Vajra esoteric art had a total of 9 levels. With the first level of the invincible golden body, one's physical body would be invincible in the inner Qi realm, and it would be impossible to kill. The second level of the silver blood true body had completely transformed his meridians and blood vessels, allowing him to step into the realm of immortality within the true Qi stage. Even though Qin Fin had broken through to the silver blood true body, it was useless against Ling Jiutian, who was at Immortal Qi realm level 3. Ling Jiutian had regained his composure and regained his contemptuous look. Your defensive technique is not bad, but it's a pity that your level is too low. It's nothing in my eyes. As soon as he finished speaking, his expression suddenly turned cold, and he slammed his palm forward. A violent gale suddenly arose. The berserk immortal energy surged like an ocean. Qin Fin had no time to hesitate. He opened his eyes and shot out 2 beams of purple fire. At the same time, he struck out with his palm. Suddenly, the weather changed, and a violent snowstorm swept up around him, blocking Ling Jiutian's vision. The purple dusk immortal fire soared into the sky, lighting up half the sky. However, Ling Jiutian was no longer there. He had somehow appeared behind Qin Fin. When the palm strike landed, it immediately scattered the snow in front of Qin Feng. Ling Jiutian struck out several more times, and cracks appeared in the snowstorm behind Qin Fin. A loud sound exploded in the snowstorm. Qin Fin's back was hit by the palm strike, and he spat out a mouthful of blood while still flying through the air. Ling Jiutian did not give him a chance to catch his breath. He came over on his golden flying sword and struck out with his palm strike again. Seeing the golden palm imprints whizzing over, Qin Feng roared, "Arrows come!" A purple light streaked across like a meteor, and the next moment, Qin Fin drew the skyhawk bow in his hand. As soon as the cloud-piercing arrow was released, It brought with it a loud sound. The flying arrow was incomparably sharp, as if it had entered an unstoppable realm. Even the golden palm print was instantly pierced through. Seeing that the cloud-piercing arrow was about to hit Ling Jiutian, he hovered in the air without dodging. Instead, he casually grabbed the air, and the lightning-fast arrow actually landed in his hand. This scene was unbelievable to Qinfen. What an outstanding arrow. Even I don't have such an arrow. Ling Jiutian stared at the cloud-piercing arrow in his hand as if he had found a treasure. He looked at it for a while, and suddenly threw the arrow out. The cloud-piercing arrow immediately pierced through the sky and shot towards Qinfen like a bullet. I'll let you die under your own flying arrow. It's interesting to think about it.
Boom.
At the critical moment, Qinfen urged his thoughts. The cloud-piercing arrow instantly changed direction and fell into the flat ground, piercing a huge hole as if it had shot into the earth's core. Qinfen realized that even the cloud-piercing arrow could not kill Ling Jiutian. He was at a loss for a strategy. The difference in cultivation level between the two of them was too great. It was easier said than done to kill Ling Jiutian. Ling Jiutian saw through his thoughts and came over with a look of contempt. Qinfen, you really disappoint me. Killing you is like killing an ant.
Boom.
As soon as he finished speaking, a loud sound exploded in the sky. Ling Jiutian's expression suddenly turned cold. He realized that Qinfen had disappeared. On the immortal island, Qinfen leaned against the fire demon tree covered in blood. The beasts and heroes immediately surrounded him. Qinfen grabbed a healing pill and poured it into his mouth. After his qi and blood had calmed down a little, he asked, "Little pig, does the system have a way to kill Ling Jiutian?" Ling Jiutian was Qinfen's current #1 enemy. This time, he had to kill Ling Jiutian no matter what. Little Pig ran out of the system and was lying on Qinfen's shoulder with a worried look. Ling Jiutian's king and ambition system is very powerful. Moreover, his character level in the system is higher than Master's. There are many ways to kill him, but Master's current hedonist points are obviously insufficient. Qinfen had devoured the sovereign transformation system not long ago and had 1,000,000 hedonist points left. He did not expect that it was still not enough to kill Ling Jiutian. It was clear that Ling Jiutian was extremely powerful. Just when Qinfen was feeling a little disappointed, Little Pig suddenly became excited. "Master, I just calculated. Since you obtained the hedonist sovereign system, you have spent a total of 9,635,000 hedonist points. As long as Master spends another 365,000 hedonist points, you can become a rank 8 hedonist mortal. When that time comes, the system will give you many generous rewards. You can also open the Star Beast interface for free to help Master defeat Ling Jiutian." Qinfen was stunned. He did not realize that he was about to spend 10 million hedonist points without realizing it. Thinking about it, it was really fast. He hurriedly looked through the system's inventory. Items that cost around 400,000 hedonist points were no longer of much use to Qinfen. If he bought them, the hedonist points would be wasted. After some thought, Qinfen decided to use hedonist points to upgrade the Hero Alliance. This was the most reasonable way to spend hedonist points. Now that he had upgraded the Hero Alliance to a Gold Alliance, he had opened the function of the space-time portal. As long as he spent 300,000 hedonist points, he could upgrade it to a Platinum Alliance. With a slight thought from Qinfen, 300,000 hedonist points immediately disappeared. A dragon's roar and Phoenix's cry rang out in his mind. The Golden Hero Alliance suddenly grew a few meters tall, and the Golden Hero Alliance became Platinum. "Master, the Platinum Alliance has a new function of sharing and completing quests." Little Pig took the initiative to explain. The sharing function allows people who have joined the Hero Leaderboard to use the system's resources. For example, they can cultivate the cultivation methods and martial skills that Master has bought. They can also take away the medicinal pills and other items that the system has bought. As for completing quests together, everyone can help Master complete quests together. The two new functions of the Platinum Alliance were great, but Qinfen did not have time to study them now. He was worried that Ling Jiutian would run away if he stayed on the immortal island for too long. Qin Fin moved his mind and spent another 65,000 hedonist points to buy some medicinal ingredients. So far, he had spent a total of 10 million hedonist points in the hedonist sovereign system. Ding! Congratulations, host Qin Fin. You've spent a total of 10 million hedonist points to become a rank 8 hedonist mortal. The system has activated the Star Beast interface for free. You are rewarded with an intermediate hero draw scroll from the Hero Palace. The system's notification sounded. Qin Fin was excited. He immediately looked at the Star Beast interface. After reading the introduction, Qin Fin was dumbfounded. The Star Beast interface was similar to the Hero Palace. Heroes could be bought in the Hero Palace, but the Star Beast interface sold all kinds of beasts. However, the beasts here were different. They were super beasts from another planet. Little Pig, where did the sovereign system come from? It even has beasts from another planet? Qin Fin was more curious about the system. Little Pig looked at the purple lightning above its head and said helplessly, Master, your hedonist level is too low, so Little Pig can't tell you. Or Master can spend 100 million hedonist points to unlock the system's secret. Qin Fin rolled his eyes. He did not have 100 million hedonist points. He had asked Little Pig about the system's origin a long time ago, but he still could not get an answer. Qin Fin simply put these questions aside. His priority now was to kill Ling Jiutian. He had let him escape on Devil Beast Mountain in the outside world, so he could not let him escape again. After entering the Star Beast interface, a vast sea of stars greeted him. However, when Qin Fin looked at the pictures in the sky, he realized that it was not like the sky on Earth. It seemed to be a sky map of another planet. Qin Fin could not care less. He asked, Little Pig, do I have to spend money to buy these star beasts? Isn't the price a bit too expensive? Qin Fin casually glanced at the interface. The cheapest star beast cost 500,000 hedonist points. Master, you just opened the Star Beast interface, so the system rewarded you with a free chance to draw a star beast. Qin Fin's mind moved slightly, and the vast sky suddenly rumbled with thunder. The wind and clouds changed, as if the stars in the sky were rotating. A huge sound rang out, and a meteor streaked across the sky. The speck of light was heading straight for Qin Fin. As the black speck approached, it grew larger and larger. Finally, with a loud boom, it landed on the empty ground in front of Qin Fin, blasting a huge crater into the ground. After the dust settled, Qin Fin saw the situation clearly. There was a gigantic beast standing in the crater. The beast had a strange appearance, and its skin was dark, as if it was made of rocks. It was comparable to the alien monster that Ultraman fought. Qin Fin was dumbfounded. The beast suddenly cried out excitedly. Its cry was very strange, and he could not understand it at all. Chapter 1491. Master, it says it's called Osla. It's a level 1 star beast, Little Pig suddenly said. Qin Fin looked at Little Pig in surprise. You can even understand the alien language? Little Pig put on its Sundra attitude and raised its little head. Pfft! I'm the soul of the system, a cute pig with unparalleled intelligence. As long as it's a product of the system, I can understand it. Naturally, I'm proficient in the language as well. Qin Fin felt that Little Pig's current behavior was asking for a beating, but there was nothing he could do. Qin Fin was still waiting for Little Pig to translate for him. What's a level 1 star beast? Qin Fin asked. Master, star beasts are categorized into level 1 to level 9. Level 1 is the lowest and level 9 is the highest. Qin Fin was suddenly a little disappointed. Then isn't Osla the lowest star beast? How strong can it be? Little Pig twitched its mouth. Master, you underestimate the power of star beasts. Although Osla is only a level 1 star beast, its combat power is comparable to a level for a mortal. Qin Fin gasped at this. The lowest star beast was comparable to a level for a mortal? Then how strong would a level 9 star beast be? And which planet did this star beast come from? If those aliens discovered Earth, wouldn't it be the end of Earth? Qin Feng's mind was filled with all kinds of doubts. Little Pig rolled its eyes. Master, don't think so far ahead. Let's solve the problem at hand first. Qin Feng suddenly came to his senses. He had to kill Ling Jiutian as soon as possible. After learning about the Star Beast world, he immediately entered the Palace of Heroes. Not long ago, when he became a level 8 mortal hedonist, the system rewarded him with an intermediate hero draw ticket. Qin Feng was puzzled. Little Pig, the heroes in the Palace of Heroes are categorized? Little Pig said, Of course. The heroes in the Palace of Heroes are primary, intermediate, advanced, super, and supreme. The heroes that Master drew before were all primary heroes. Qin Feng was stunned. Golden-haired Lion King and Duan Yu were also primary heroes? He realized that he had underestimated the Palace of Heroes. Little Pig could read Qin Feng's mind and continued, Master, the primary category of heroes is below the Immortal Qi realm, and the intermediate category is between the Immortal Qi realm and the Saint King realm. As for the latter category, Master has yet to come into contact with them. Qin Feng was confused. He realized that Little Pig was talking about realms above the Immortal Qi realm. Those realms were too far away from his current strength. Qin Feng collected his thoughts and started to draw an intermediate hero. With a thought, one of the stars in the night sky suddenly shone brightly and turned into a meteor as it flew over. Giant Demon Cannon Huangzhong greets Master. An old man knelt on one knee in front of Qin Feng. He had a head full of gray hair, and his eyes were filled with majesty. He was wearing clothes made of beast skin and beast bones, and he was wearing beast boots. The most spectacular thing was the cool-looking cannon in his right hand. Just looking at it made people feel a chill down their spines. Huangzhong, please get up. Qin Feng helped him up, then looked at the cannon and said, Is this your weapon? How powerful is it? Without saying a word, Huangzhong fired a cannon at the void behind him. Instantly, flames shot into the sky, illuminating a large part of the night. The deafening sound lasted for a long time, and Qin Feng was speechless. Wow! This cannon is even more powerful than my wind and cloud mad demon cannon, Qin Feng exclaimed. Little Pig laughed and said, It's not just more powerful than Master's mad demon cannon. That cannon's power is comparable to the White Phoenix mech's homing cannon. The White Phoenix mech was the pinnacle of Star Technology's S-grade mech. Its homing cannon could kill a Stage 1 immortal venerable. It seemed that Huangzhong's combat power was not to be underestimated. As if reading Qin Feng's mind, Huangzhong took the initiative and said, Master, with the cannon in my hands, I'm comparable to a Stage 4 immortal venerable. Qin Feng's eyes lit up, and he looked at Huangzhong as if he was looking at a treasure in the desert. Now that he had Osla and Huangzhong, his combat power had skyrocketed. Thinking of Ling Jiutian outside, Qin Feng's mouth curled into a cold smile. With a thought, Qin Feng had already exited the system and directly arrived in China. He landed in the void where he had disappeared, and all around him was the ruins of a great battle. Ling Jiutian was no longer there, but a black shadow shot over from afar, and it came to Qin Feng's side in a few breaths. Humph. Let's see where you can hide today, kid. Ling Jiutian found Qin Feng again, his eyes full of contempt. He had never taken Qin Feng seriously. Whether it was the system or his own martial arts realm, Ling Jiutian had nothing to fear. When Qin Feng appeared again, it was as if he had changed into a different person. He landed on an empty space and said with an indifferent expression, Ling Jiutian, I'll ask you one last time before you die. Who else is behind you? And where did this system come from? Ling Jiutian's golden rock slash stopped abruptly, and he forgot to bring it down. He looked at Qin Feng, who was on the ground, amused. He did not know where this kid got his confidence from to say such arrogant words. I said, you can ask the king of hell these questions when you go to hell.
Kaboom.
The slash finally landed, and a loud noise was heard. However, Qin Feng stood still with his hands behind his back, as if he did not see the fast-approaching blade aura. The smile on Ling Jiutian's face disappeared. Seeing that Qin Feng was about to be cut in half, he had a bad feeling in his heart. Qin Feng's calmness was too unusual. This was not the behavior of a dying man. Roar. Before Ling Jiutian could figure it out, a strange roar suddenly sounded. A huge monster that looked like a dinosaur landed in front of Qin Feng. Its hind legs were on the ground, and its front legs were in the air. It also had a long tail that was swinging in the air. The golden blade aura landed on the behemoth's body, but after a loud noise, only a few shallow marks were left on Asla's body. There was not even a trace of blood. When Ling Jiutian landed, he was stunned and looked at Asla in disbelief. He did not know where this monster came from. You have the astral behemoth? Soon, Ling Jiutian's expression changed. Qin Feng said in a deep voice, "Not only do I have the astral behemoth, but I also have a hero that can destroy you."
Kaboom!
As soon as his voice fell, there was a loud explosion. Huang Zhong seemed to have stepped into the sky with the cannon, and when he landed, he fired at Ling Jiutian. A fire dragon whizzed out, and the loud noise was earth-shattering. Ling Jiutian's eyes widened, and when he came back to his senses, he quickly dodged. His reaction was still a beat too slow, and the aftermath of the cannon sent him flying into the air. Many sparks landed on his body, and his clothes were burned clean. Ling Jiutian was flying through the air naked. Even he could not believe what he was seeing.
Kaboom!
Another loud explosion rang out. Huang Zhong fired the second cannon into the sky. A fireball shot into the sky like a cannonball and hit Ling Jiutian. The fire instantly exploded, and the sky was set ablaze. Ling Jiutian was at the center of the explosion, and he did not know what had happened to him. "Asla, go take a look." Qin Feng was still a little worried. Ling Jiutian was too cunning, and he had the system. Who knew if he was really dead? Asla suddenly flapped the wings on its back and flew into the sky like a fighter jet. It directly dived into the fire, and its hard fur was not afraid of the fire at all. Roar. Soon, Asla's strange cry came from the fire, and Little Pig immediately translated, "Master, Asla said there's nothing in the fire, and that guy's most likely been turned into ashes." Qin Feng did not expect Ling Jiutian to really be killed, and he had some doubts in his heart. After all, this opponent had been secretly fighting with him for too long. Little Pig continued, "Master, I can no longer sense the existence of the system nearby. It seems that the King of Ambition system has disappeared, and that Ling Jiutian is indeed dead." Qin Feng finally heaved a sigh of relief, but he soon felt that it was a pity. He originally wanted to kill Ling Jiutian and then devour his King of Ambition system, but he did not expect Huang Zhong to directly blow him up with a cannon and even destroy the system. Ling Jiutian's death made Qin Feng feel a little emotional. This guy had fought with him countless times, and he even controlled the capture of his mother. Qin Feng suddenly realized that Ling Jiutian might very well know where his mother was, but now that he was dead, there was nothing he could ask. When Qin Feng swaggered back to the mountain top of Celestial Soul's Gate, the group of Holy Gate disciples had not left. The moment everyone saw him, their eyes were filled with awe and fear. They had been guessing who would win the battle between Qin Feng and Ling Jiutian. Now that Qin Feng had returned alive, everything was proven. From this moment onwards, Qin Feng's name resounded throughout the land of China. He suddenly appeared like a god of war, and with one move, he could kill a true Qi Stage 9 powerhouse. He also had countless technological products from the outside world, and not long ago, he killed the Lei family in the Fire Beacon City Science and Technology Museum. Qin Feng was now immortal in everyone's eyes. At a young age, he stood at the peak of the martial way of China, and his strength far surpassed the previous 5 sect masters of China. "Qin Feng, are you all right?" Sob sob. "It's good that you're back."
We were so worried.
The girls rushed to his side, and all of them expressed their concern for him. Qin Feng pulled all 9 women into his embrace. Everyone was envious when they saw this scene. After this battle, Qin Feng's horizons had been broadened a lot. He realized that the Immortal Island was the celestial venerable realm that people in China had heard of, and it was very likely the only celestial venerable realm. In addition, he also learned of the existence of star beasts, which meant the existence of creatures from other planets. Qin Feng did not say these things, as he was afraid that it would scare everyone to death. Qin Feng knew that his current level was still too low. If he wanted to protect the women and friends around him, he had to continue to speed up his breakthrough. This huge battle in China ended, and the power structure of China was completely changed. At this point, there were no more 5 supremes in China, and only the strongest sovereign sect, Celestial Soul's Gate, was left. However, the Thousand Shadows sect used Qin Feng's name to greatly increase their power and became the #1 sect in China, second only to the Celestial Soul's Gate. Chapter 1492. Several months had passed since that pinnacle battle in China. The intense and spectacular battle was still etched in every disciple's mind as if it was only yesterday. Qin Feng had been cultivating on Immortal Island for the past 3 months. He'd used up the remaining 3 Immortal Cloud pills and was now at the peak of Immortal Qi Stage 2. In just 3 months, the situation of the Divine Great Land had completely changed. Many of the great sects had fallen or even disappeared. However, many sacred sects had sprung up like bamboo shoots after a rain. Qin Feng didn't suppress the development of the sacred sects. He didn't care about these true Qi stage cultivation sects anymore. It was fine as long as they willingly submitted to Spirit Immortal. Qin Feng, China's situation is completely stabilized now. When are we going back? Su Ruoro and the other girls surrounded Qin Feng every day. They'd been in China for more than 3 months. They missed life in China's secular world very much. Qin Feng had wanted to go back a long time ago. Seeing that everything in China was almost settled, he made a decision. It's time to go back and take a look. You guys go prepare. We'll leave in half an hour. The girls cheered. Suddenly, Qiao Shishir said, "Wait. The formation connecting China to the outside world only loosens once every 20 years. How are we going back?" The girls were so homesick that they lost their minds. As soon as Qiao Shishir's words left her mouth, the excited beauties' faces turned sour. "It's over. We can only go back in 20 years. How old will I be by then? Do the other sisters in Hero City still recognize me?" Hua Yen frowned. The communication function of Hero Alliance can't be used now. We're in China and can't even talk to our sisters and family. Ren Xian pouted. Sob, Feng, what should we do? If we're really going to stay here for 20 years, I'll have to give you a child now. Otherwise, how am I going to survive these 20 years? The girls looked at Qin Feng eagerly. Qin Feng wanted to laugh. He pulled the girls into his arms and said softly, "Don't worry. I have a way to go back." The girls exclaimed, "Really? You have a way to take us back now?" Qin Feng's face was full of certainty, but he didn't say what his method was. The girls trusted him very much, so they immediately went to pack their luggage and prepared to return to the secular world of China. Actually, Qin Feng could have returned to the Chinese secular world a long time ago. After he devoured Lei Wanzhong's sovereign modification system, he discovered that the fellow had modified a shuttle. According to the system's introduction, the shuttle could withstand the impact of the formation that led to the immortal venerable realm. As for the formation that led to the Huaxia secular world from China, it was even more so. After obtaining the shuttle, Qin Feng figured out why Lei Wanzhong could get his hands on so many technological products from the outside world. It was because he could travel between China and the outside world at any time. In the blink of an eye, more than half a year had passed since Qin Feng left the secular world of China. This period of time was neither long nor short, but in this half a year, the outside world had undergone tremendous changes. Qin Feng's deeds and legends gradually faded, and the families and forces related to him were greatly suppressed. A new martial supremacy had appeared in the outside world. He only took half a year to conquer the land of China. "Director Han, you're dressed so beautifully today. Let's have dinner together tonight." In Acropolis City's Royal Group's president's office, Han Yinging wore a professional black silk uniform. Her curvaceous, round, and voluptuous figure made people itch for action. Her slender legs and slender waist made people want to conquer her. However, at this moment, her expression was cold. She looked at the man sitting across from her with disgust and said, "Gao Hu, I've already said many times that I have no interest in you. Also, don't forget that I'm Qin Fin's woman. Do you even dare to have ideas about me? Are you tired of living?" Han Ying had always been strong, cold, and arrogant. In her life, she could only be conquered by Qin Fin. She couldn't be bothered to look at other men. Speaking of Gao Hu, he was the eldest grandson of the Gao family, one of the 4 major families of Acropolis City. Later, because he wanted to hit on Lu Wenjing, he was beaten up by Qin Fin at Acropolis City's Normal University. Later, Qin Fin pressured the Gao family, causing the 4 major families to fall into a star that couldn't be shown in public. However, no one expected that the Gao family would develop rapidly in the past half a year. Now, Gao Hu dared to brazenly flirt with Han Ying. Hearing the name Qin Fin, Gao Hu's eyes shot out flames. At this moment, he was sitting in a wheelchair, and this was all thanks to Qin Fin. Back then, Qin Fin had crippled Gao Hu's leg with 1 foot. Humph. Don't mention that Xing with the surname Qin to me. Right now, the situation in China has changed greatly. It's already the era of Taoist Gu. I heard that Qin Fin rashly ran to the extinction sect and has long since died there. I advise you to obediently listen to me. Our Gao family is the future top family in China. Han Ying's expression became colder. Gao Hu's words touched her reverse scale. However, Gao Hu wasn't the only one who said these words. Now, all of China was wildly saying that Qin Fin had already died in the extinction sect. Han Ying was a strong woman, but her eyes became moist. No matter how strong her opponents were in business or how difficult life was, she would grit her teeth and endure it. However, after learning that Qin Fin might have died, this strong woman could no longer hold on. She felt as if her world had collapsed and her faith had disappeared. Director Han, can't you give me a straightforward answer? Are you going to accept my love or not? Gao Hu was a bit impatient, and his voice became cold. Today, I'll make things clear. Right now, any power related to Qin Fin has been suppressed by Taoist Gu, and your royal group is Taoist Gu's #1 target. If it wasn't for our Gao family protecting you, do you think you would still be well to this day? Now, make your choice. Either be good to me, or I won't be polite to your royal group. Gao Hu had pursued Han Ying for more than a month, but to no avail. Now, he decided to shed all pretense of cordiality and use forceful methods. Han Ying immediately frowned. Royal Group had several thousand employees working under her. If it really collapsed, those people would lose their jobs. More importantly, Royal Group was a group that Qin Fin and his son had single-handedly created. If it was destroyed in her hands, she would die of guilt. Okay, I agree to have dinner with you. After a moment, Han Ying had no choice but to temporarily compromise. She didn't really want to be good to Gao Hu. She just wanted to buy some time for Royal Group. Although other people said that Qin Fin was dead, Han Ying didn't want to believe it. Qin Fin had brought too many surprises to the sisters. Han Ying believed that this time, he wouldn't disappoint them. Seeing that Han Ying had agreed, Gao Hu was so excited that he wanted to jump. However, he found that his legs were broken. How could he jump? For a moment, Gao Hu started to curse Qin Fin in his heart. It was all because of Qin Fin that he was forced to travel in a wheelchair. Gao Hu secretly glanced at Han Ying's full breasts and straight legs. He thought to himself that he would fiercely satisfy this woman tonight as punishment for Qin Fin. The two left one after the other and arrived at the Royal Hotel. This was originally a 5-star hotel under the Royal Group, but it was now taken over by Gao Hu's family. In a banquet hall on the 8th floor, Gao Hu had already booked the entire table. Delicious food and wine were already laid out on the table. However, only Gao Hu and Han Ying were eating in such a luxurious and imposing manner. He plus chief, sit wherever you want. Make it your own home. After Gao Hu entered the room, he revealed a smile. From his perspective, Han Ying was destined to be unable to escape tonight. Han Ying felt suffocated. This was originally her company, but now it was the property of the Gao family. Chief Gao, I came to eat with you tonight because I want to talk about some things. Han Ying sat on a chair under the floor-to-ceiling window. She was too lazy to waste words with Gao Hu and went straight to the point. Gao Hu's gaze was fixed on Han Ying's breasts the entire time. He had a vulgar expression on his face. He wanted nothing more than to pounce on this sexy and enchanting woman right now. However, since Han Ying was here, he wasn't in a hurry. Oh, what does Chief Han want to talk about? It's best if we don't talk about work. Tonight, let's talk about the matters between a man and a woman. As Gao Hu spoke, he threw a coquettish glance. Han Ying was so disgusted that she almost vomited. Chief Gao, I want to cooperate with the Gao family and take back the property of the Royal Hotel, Han Ying said straightforwardly. Gao Hu stared blankly. When he came back to his senses, he laughed loudly. Haha, Chief, are you joking with me? This Royal Hotel is practically a money-printing machine. How could the Gao family give it back to you? As he spoke, Gao Hu laughed evilly. However, I have an idea. Chief Gao, if you submit to me tonight and become my woman in the future, then wouldn't this hotel be yours? Han Ying suppressed her anger and said coldly. Gao Hu, I advise you not to take things too far. If Qin Feng suddenly returns one day, you'll have a way out for yourself. Gao Hu's smile became sinister. He couldn't bear to hear Qin Feng's name. Whenever this person was mentioned, he would go crazy. Do you think Qin Feng could still be alive? Even if he did come back alive, the world has already changed. That Taoist, Gu, came out of seclusion less than half a year ago and completely reshuffled all the powers in China. Now even the dragon sect fears Taoist Gu. I believe that he will personally destroy Qin Feng. Han Ying came tonight to persuade the Gao family to cooperate with her. However, it seemed that it was impossible now. Since this was the case, there was no need for Han Ying to stay. She stood up and was about to leave. Before she walked out, Gao Hu pushed his wheelchair and blocked her way. Chief Han, you haven't even eaten yet and you're leaving? Gao Hu laughed coldly. Han Ying suppressed her anger and said, I'm not hungry, I'll go back first. How could Gao Hu let Han Ying leave? He laughed and said, It's fine if you don't eat, but we still have to have sex. Do you really think your elder invited you to eat? You're such a smart woman. You should obediently submit to your elder. Remember the website, Sanwa website. Chapter 1493. Han Ying's expression was cold. She was an arrogant and powerful woman, and she was usually as high and mighty as an empress. After following Qin Feng, no one dared to offend her, not to mention Gao Hu's filthy words. Gao, I'm warning you, watch your mouth. You want to woo me with that cowardly look of yours? Dream on. Han Ying was completely enraged and didn't give Gao Hu any face. Gao Hu's expression turned cold, and he was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. However, he quickly regained his composure. He even smirked at Han Ying and said, Good, very good. The more powerful you are, the more I like you. Only conquering a thorny rose like you'll give me pleasure. Since you don't know what's good for you, don't blame me for being impolite. Han Ying's patience ran out, and she suddenly stomped on Gao Hu's face. Although she usually took care of Qin Feng's businesses as her main responsibility, Han Ying still cultivated a little. She was now a stage 5 inner chi, which was more than enough to deal with trash like Gao Hu. The shadow of a leg swept over, bringing with it a fragrant wind. Gao Hu couldn't run even if he wanted to in his wheelchair. However, he had no intention of dodging. He still had a fearless smile on his face, as if he had a trump card.
Swoosh.
Just as Han Ying was puzzled, for black shadows shot in from outside the door. The four were extremely fast, and one of them already stood in front of Gao Hu to block him. The other 3 people were still fighting. Gao Hu leisurely leaned on his wheelchair as if nothing had happened. He even had a bodyguard light a cigarette for him and smoked while enjoying the fight. Director Han, do you think I'm stupid? How could a person in a wheelchair not have bodyguards by his side? I advise you to obediently follow me. Why bother? Gao Hu's voice could be heard from time to time. Han Ying was so angry that she gritted her teeth. She wanted nothing more than to rush up and kick Gao Hu's head, but the 3 bodyguards were very skilled. In a short while, they had forced her into a corner. "You traitors, hurry up and scram." Han Ying felt that she couldn't hold on any longer and roared angrily. It turned out that Han Ying knew the 3 bodyguards. They were all martial artists from Hero City of Acropolis City. When Qin Feng was famous in China, these martial artists bowed their heads and served him. Now that Qin Feng had disappeared without a trace, they immediately sought refuge with someone else. "Bitch, what are you yelling for? Do you believe that I won't cut your pretty face? Does he still think that China is Qin Feng's world? You're lucky you're still alive." The 3 of them had long since betrayed Qin Feng, so how could they have the slightest bit of self-awareness? After being reprimanded by Han Ying, they became angry and their attitudes were even worse than Han Ying's. For a moment, Han Ying felt like a lamb had entered the mouth of a tiger. A feeling of despair seeped out from the bottom of her heart. She had always been unwilling to admit that Qin Feng had died in the Extinction Gate. However, in the blink of an eye, more than half a year had passed, and Qin Feng had yet to return. Even Su Ruo and the other 8 women, who had entered the Extinction Gate later, had yet to be heard from. "Bitch, come here." After fighting for a while, one of the men saw an opportunity and reached out to grab Bao Ying from behind. A vulgar smile appeared on the man's face. Han Ying's body was hot and sexy. If he hugged her, it would feel so good.
Whoosh.
However, there was a sudden burst of fire. There was even a faint whistle of the wind. However, the commotion was too small and was completely covered by the sounds of the fierce fight. The man's arm had already reached the edge of Han Ying's clothes. Just as he was about to hug her, his expression suddenly changed and he instinctively looked at his empty arms. He was so shocked that his eyeballs fell to the ground. Why was his arm gone? Where's my arm? The man cried out in shock. The other 2 men were about to pounce on Han Ying and take advantage of her, but they were frightened by their companion's sudden actions. "Zhao Bang, are you stupid? Of course your arm is on you." The 2 of them looked at Zhao Bang with disdain. However, when their gazes fell on his arm, they were so scared that they almost fell. "Zhao Bang, where's your arm? Holy shit, can you not scare people? Hurry and get your arm out." His 2 companions were scared to death. Zhao Bang finally felt the sharp pain from his broken arm and he screamed like a wild beast. The smell of blood suddenly wafted through the room. The 3 bodyguards and Gao Hu realized that something was wrong. Zhao Bang had already fainted from the pain and fell to the ground. Blood flowed like a river from his body. Who did this? Gao Hu was so frightened that he screamed. He looked around the room a few times, but he didn't see anyone. The 3 bodyguards' legs trembled uncontrollably. As martial artists from the outer world, they already realized that the person hiding in the dark was powerful and wasn't someone they could deal with. Even Han Ying was frightened by this bloody scene. However, she quickly came to her senses. Her cold, beautiful eyes flashed. She had seen a scene like this before. That was the result of Qin Feng's anger. "Qin Feng, is that you? Are you back?" Han Ying was so excited that her entire body trembled. At this moment, she shed the strong facade of a queen. She was like a helpless child being held. The room was silent and no one answered. Once Gao Hu and the 3 bodyguards heard the name Qin Feng, they trembled in fear. Qin Feng disappeared for half a year and was even rumored to have died. However, his ferocity and strength were still deeply engraved in everyone's hearts. How could it be so easy to forget? After a while, there was still no sound in the room. Gao Hu let out a sigh of relief. He felt that he was too nervous. Qin Feng definitely died in the extinction sect. Even if he didn't die, he would be destroyed by Daoist goo if he dared to return to the secular world of China. What are you guys still standing there for? Did this woman scare you like this with one lie? Hurry up and tie her up. Gao Hu roared angrily. The 3 bodyguards suddenly came to their senses. They braced themselves and pounced at Han Ying again. Halfway there, the flames suddenly appeared. This time, everyone saw it clearly. The three bodyguards, in particular, saw the flames streak across their legs. Then they fell head first to the ground. Ow, ow, ow. Instantly, the room was filled with the screams of three people like pigs being slaughtered. Gao, who was so scared that he fell off his wheelchair. The three bodyguards' legs were cut off at the knees, and the floor was covered in bright red blood. At this moment, Gao was truly afraid. He knew that someone was hiding in the dark, and that person's methods were exactly the same as Qin Feng's. Sob, sob. Feng, I know you're back. Come out now, I really need you. Han Ying couldn't hold it in anymore and burst into tears. If the thousands of employees of the royal group saw the scene, they would definitely be blinded by shock. A gust of wind blew past. By the time Han Ying realized that someone was standing next to her, she was already tightly embraced by the other person. The man was strong and broad-minded. His scent was so familiar that Han Ying instantly softened in his warm embrace. Qin Feng was not the only one who came. Su Ruoro, the 9 women, and Hua Xiu were also standing in the room. Gao Hu's eyes were dazzled when he looked at the group of beauties. However, he was not in the mood to appreciate the beauties. When he saw Qin Feng standing in white, he was so scared that his heart almost jumped out of his chest. Qin Feng, why you're not dead? Gao Hu sat on the floor and asked with a trembling voice. Before Qin Feng could answer, Zhang Kuku angrily jumped out and stepped on Gao Hu's broken leg. Who did you say died? If you dare to curse Big Brother Qin Feng again, I'll break both of your hands. After Zhang Kuku drank the ancient giant beast gene fluid, she had no control over her strength. Her foot even cracked the floorboards. Gao Hu screamed in pain and almost fainted. Han Ying felt like she was dreaming. Not only did Qin Feng, whom she longed for day and night, return, but even her good sisters returned. Big sister Ying, are you alright? The women surrounded her. Han Ying was a woman who had seen great storms and waves. She quickly calmed down. I am fine. I'm relieved to see my sisters and Qin Feng return safely. Han Ying noticed there was an unfamiliar face in the crowd. That woman had outstanding beauty and was delicate and refined. She stood at the side cautiously and peeked at the decorations in the room as if it was her first time seeing them. Qin Feng pulled Hua Xiu over and introduced, This is Granny Xing, Pakachin, whom I subdued in the Divine Land. This is your big sister Ying. Hua Xiu immediately greeted Han Ying. After Han Ying understood the situation, she also acted close to Hua Xiu. By the way, Ying, why are you eating with scum like Gao Hu? Qin Feng had just returned from the Divine Land, so he was not familiar with the situation here. He brought the women to the royal group to look for Han Ying and wanted to give her a surprise. However, he heard from the staff that she came to the royal hotel. Han Ying immediately felt wronged and said, Qin Feng, you've been gone for more than half a year. The situation in China has changed drastically. Suddenly, a spiritual Master Gu appeared and swept away the outer martial arts world and the inner hidden sections. He even defeated Senior Dragon God. Even the 12 peaks of the Dragon Gate couldn't do anything to him. Many people started to rely on that spiritual Master Gu. His influence grew stronger and stronger. Now, he has replaced you as the pinnacle of China's martial arts world. There are even rumors that you've died. Han Ying did not continue. She could not bring herself to say the word died. Moreover, she did not believe in those rumors from the beginning. Qin Feng and the women were shocked when they learned about the current situation in China. They did not expect so many things to happen in the outside world in just half a year. Spiritual Master Gu? Who does he think he is? Qin Feng's eyes were spitting fire. If that bullshit spiritual Master Gu was standing in front of him, Qin Feng would definitely kill him. Zhang Kuku was still stomping on Gao Hu. Gao Hu felt as if he was going to lose his life. When he heard Qin Feng and the others talking about spiritual Master Gu, he hastily said, You bitch, you'd better start writing now. Now that the Gao family has submitted to spiritual Master Gu, I'll summon him to kill you. Zhang Kuku was stunned. She forgot to continue stomping on Gao Hu. Gao Hu thought that she was frightened. Just when he was feeling pleased with himself, Zhang Ke stepped on his face. Remember the website. Sandwich Chinese Network. You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.